Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Seton Castle, here on the beautiful campus of the Academy for the Love of Learning. This is the fourth of six shows of Hamlet put on by the Shakespeare Gym and Upstart Crows of Santa Fe. The Academy is an educational nonprofit working to change the way we think about learning and education. Academy staff were excited to talk to the Upstart Crows about their learning experiences outside the classroom, how they are doing what they love, and learning while they do. You'll find some highlights of their conversations with the Crows in the pamphlet of your programs. And you will also find a short questionnaire asking you to reflect on this type of learning, and they'd love for you to complete it. There are some pens up front. You can do it online, but please do complete it if you can, because they've been very generous with us. If you'd like to learn more about the Crows or the Shakespeare Gym, you can find us online at upstartcrowsofsantafe.org and theshakespearegym.org. Some brief thanks. Thanks to the Academy for their support and to the producing sponsor of this show, Gil Gross. There's one intermission. We have snacks and drinks, hot and cold. Everything is by donation, and all donations go to the Upstart Crows Scholarship Fund. Restrooms are around the corner to the right from the castle. Feel free to take pictures. Just please turn off your flash. Please turn off your cell phone. Let's all do it at once. I'll do mine with you. Turning off our cell phones because they will go off at inopportune moments. And without further ado, Hamlet.
Who's there?
Anthony, stand and unfold yourself!
Long live the king.
Bernardo,
He,
you come most carefully upon your hour.
it has now struck 12. Get to his bed, Francisco.
For this relief, much thanks. 'Tis bitter cold, and I am sick at heart.
Have you had quiet guard?
The mouth stirring.
Well, good night. If you do meet Horatio and Marcellus, the rivals of my watch, bid them make haste.
I think I hear them. Stand, oh, who's there?
Friends to this ground.
And liegemen to the Dane.
Give you good night.
Oh, farewell, honest soldier. Who hath relieved you?
Bernardo hath my place. Give you good night.
Hola, Bernardo.
What? Is Horatio there?
A piece of him.
Welcome, Horatio. Welcome, good Marcellus.
What, has this thing appeared again tonight?
I've seen nothing.
Horatio says 'tis but our fantasy, and will not let belief take hold of him, touching this dreaded sight twice seen of us. Therefore I've entreated him along with us to watch the minutes of this night, that if this apparition come again, he may approve our eyes and speak to it.
Hush, hush, come up here.
Sit down a while, and let us once again assail your ears that are so fortified against our story, what we have 2 nights seen.
Well, sit we down. Let us hear Bernardo speak of this.
Last night of all, when yon same star that's westward from the pole hath made his course to illume that part of heaven where now it burns, Marcellus and myself, the bell then beating one.
Look, peace, break me off, look what comes again. Thou art a scholar, speak to it, Horatio.
Looks it not like the king?
Most like, towers me with fear and wonder.
What make you of it, Horatio?
What art thou, that usurps this time of night, together with that fair and warlike form, with which Majesty of Barry Denmark did sometimes march? By heaven, I charge thee, speak!
It is offended.
See, it stalks away.
Speak! Speak, I charge thee, speak!
'Tis gone and will not answer.
How now, Horatio? You tremble and look pale. Is not this something more than fantasy? What think you on it?
Oh my God, I might not disbelieve without the sensible and true avouch of mine own eyes.
Is it not like the
I
king?
thought it to thyself. Such was the very honour he had on when he the ambitious Norway combated. So frowdy once when in an angry pile he smote the splendid poleaxe on the ice. 'Tis strange.
Thus, twice before, and jump at this dead hour, with martial stock hath he gone by our watch.
In what particular thought to work I know not, but in the gross and scope of mine opinion, this bodes some strange eruption to our state.
Come now, sit down and tell me, he that knows, why this same strict and most observant watch so nightly toils the subject of the land.
That can I. At least the whisper goes so. Our last king, whose image even now but appeared to us, was, as you know, by Fortinbras of Norway, dared to the combat, in which our valiant Hamlet, for so this side of our known world esteemed him, did slay this Fortinbras. By a sealed compact, well ratified by law and heraldry, did forfeit with his life all those his lands which he stood seized of to the conqueror. Now, sir, young Fortinbras, of unimproved metal, hot and full, hath in the skirts of Norway here and there shocked up a list of landless resolutes, for food and diet, to some enterprise which hath a stomach in it, which is no more but to recover of us, by strong hands and terms compulsive, those foresaid lands so by his father lost. And this, I take it, is the main motive of our preparations, the source of this our watch, and the chief head of our post-haste and rummage in the land.
I think of it no other that e'en so. Well may it sort that this portentous figure comes armed through our watch, so like the king that was, and is the question of these wars.
A motive is to trouble the mind's eye. In the most high and palmy state of Rome, a little ere the mightiest Julius fell, the graves stood tenantless, and the sheeted dead did squeak and gibber in the Roman streets, as stars with trains of fire and dews of blood, disasters in the sun. And the moist star, upon whose influence Neptune's empire stands, was sick almost to doomsday with eclipse, and even the like precursive feared events, as harbingers preceding still the fates and prologue of the omen coming on, have heaven and earth together demonstrated unto our climatures and countrymen. So behold! Look where it comes again! Across the door, blast me. Stay, illusion! If thou hast any sound or use of voice, speak to me. If there be any good thing to be done, that made to thee due ease and grace to me, speak to me! Is thou privy to thy country's fate, which happily foreknowing may avoid, oh speak! Or if thou hast abhorred in thy life, extorted treasure in the womb of earth, for which they say you spirits oft walk in death. Speak of it! Stay and speak! Stop it, Marcellus!
Shall I strike it with my parchment?
Do it will not stand! 'Tis here! 'Tis here!
'Tis gone. We do it wrong, being so majestical to offer it the show of violence, for it is, as the air, invulnerable, and our vein blows malicious mockery.
He was about to speak when the cock crew.
And then it started like a guilty thing upon a fearful summons. I have heard the cock, that is the trumpet to the morn, doth with his lofty and shrill-sounding throat awake the god of day. And at his warning, whether in sea or fire, in earth or air, the extravagant and erring spirit hies to his confine. And of the truth herein, this present object made probation.
And faded on the crowing of the cock. Some say that ever 'gainst that season comes wherein our Saviour's birth is celebrated, the bird of dawning singeth all night long. And then they say, no spirit can walk abroad, the nights are wholesome. Then no planets strike, no fairy takes, nor witch hath power to charm. So gracious and so hallowed is the time.
So have I heard, and do in part believe it. But look, the morn, in russet mantle clad, walks o'er the dew of yon high eastward hill. Break we our watch up, and by my advice, let us impart what we have seen tonight unto young Hamlet. For upon my life, this spirit, dumb to us, will speak to him. Do you consent that we shall acquaint him with it as needful in our loves, fitting our duty?
Let's do it, I pray, and I this morning know where we shall find him most conveniently.
dear brother's death, the memory be green, and it us be fitted to bear our hearts in grief, and our whole kingdom be contracted in one brow of woe. And so far as discretion fought with nature, that our sometime sister, now our queen, the imperial jointress of this warlike state, have we, as through with a defeated joy, with mirth and funeral, and with dirge in marriage, in equal scale weighing delight and dole, taken to wife. Nor have we here in bard your better wisdoms, which have freely gone with this affair along, for all our thanks. Now follows that you know young Fortinbras, holding a weak supposal of our worth, he hath not failed to pester us with message importing the surrender of those lands lost by his father with all bonds of law to our most valiant brother. So much for him. Now for ourselves, and for this time of meeting, thus much the business is. We have here writ to Norway, uncle of young Fortinbras, who, impotent and bedrid, scarcely hears of this his nephew's purpose, to suppress his further gait herein. We here dispatch you, good Cornelius, and you, Voltimand, for bearers of this greeting to old Norway. Farewell, and let your haste commend your duty.
In that and all things will we show our duty.
We show our duty. We doubted nothing. Heartily farewell. And now, Laertes, what's the news with you? You told us some soup. What wouldst thou beg, Laertes? It shall not be my offer, not by asking. The head is not more native to the heart, the hand more instrumental to the mouth, than is the throne of Denmark to thy father. What wouldst thou have?
Dread, my lord, your leave in favor to return to France, from whence so willingly I came to Denmark to show my duty in your coronation. Yet now, I must confess, that duty done, my thoughts and wishes bend again toward France, and vow them to your gracious leave and pardon.
Have you your father's leave? What says Polonius?
Yes, my lord, running for me my slow leave by Laverson petition, and at last upon his will I sealed my hard consent. I do beseech you, give him leave to go.
Take thy fair hour, Laertes. Time be thine, and thy best grace is spended at thy will. But now, my cousin Hamlet and my son,
A little more than kin and less than kind.
how is it that the clouds still hang over here?
Oh, so, my lord, I am too much in the sun. Good Hamlet, cast thy native colour off, and let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever with thy veiled lids seek for thy noble father in the dust. Thou know'st 'tis common, all that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity.
Aye, madam, it is common.
If it be, why seems it so particular with this?
Seems, madam. Nay, it is. I know not seems. 'Tis not alone my inky cloak, good mother, nor customary suits of solemn black, nor windy suspiration of forced breath, no, nor the fruitful river in the eye, nor the dejected behavior of the visage, together with all forms, moods, shapes of grief that can denote me truly. These indeed seem, for they are actions that a man might play. But I have that within which passeth shows, these but the trappings and the suits of woe.
'Tis sweet and commendable in your nature, Hamlet, to give these mourning duties to your father. But you must know, your father lost a father, and that father lost his, and the survivor bound in filial obligation for some term to do obsequious sorrow, but to persever in impious condolement is a course of impious stubbornness. Fie, 'tis a fault to heaven, a fault against the dead, a fault to nature, to reason most absurd, whose common fame is death of fathers, and who still hath cried from the first course till he that died today, this must be so. We pray you, throw to earth this unprevailing woe, and think of us as of a father. For let the world take note, you are the most immediate to our throne, and with no less nobility of love than that which dearest father bears his son do I impart towards you. As for your going back to school at Wittenberg, it is most retrograde to our desire. We beseech you, bend you to remain here in the cheer and comfort of our eye, our chiefest courtier, cousin, and our son.
Let not thy mother lose her prayers, Hamlet. I pray thee stay with us. Go not to Wittenberg.
I shall, in all my best, obey you, madam.
Why, 'tis a loving and a fair reply. Be as ourself in Denmark. Madam, come, this cheerful and unforced accord of Hamlet's and smiling in my heart, and grace whereof no jocund health Denmark drinks a day, but the great cannon to the clouds shall tell. And the kings rouse, the heavens shall all brew it again, bespeaking earthly thunder. Come, away.
Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw, resolve itself into a dew. Or that the everlasting had not fixed his cannon against self-slaughter. Oh, God. God. How weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world. Fie on it! Oh, fie! 'Tis an unweeded garden that grows to seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely. That it should come to this. 2 months dead. Nay, not so much. Not 2. So excellent a king that was to this Hyperion to a satyr. So loving to my mother that he might not beteem the winds of heaven visit her face too roughly. Heaven and earth must I remember. Why, she would hang on him as if increase of appetite had grown by what it fed on. Yet within a month, let me not think on. Frailty, thy name is woman. A little month. Or those shoes were cold with which she followed my poor father's body like Niobe, all tears. Why, she, even she, oh God, a beast that once discourse of reason would have mourned longer. Married with my uncle, my father's brother, yet no more like my father than I to Hercules. A little month, yet the salt of most unrighteous tears had left the flushing of her gulled eyes. She married. Oh, most wicked speed, to post with such dexterity to incestuous sheets. It is not, nor it cannot come to good, but break my heart, for I must hold my tongue.
Hail to your lordship.
I am glad to see thee well, Horatio. I do forget myself.
Not the same, my lord, and you a poor servant ever.
Oh, my good friend, I'll change that name with you. And what make you from Wittenberg, Horatio? Marcellus!
My good lord.
I'm very glad to see thee well. Good even, sir. But what make you from Wittenberg?
A truly disposition, good my
I would
lord.
not hear your enemies say so, nor shall you do my ear that violence to make truster of your own report against yourself. I know you are no truant, but what is your affair in Elsinore? We'll teach you to drink deep ere you depart.
My lord, I came to see your father's funeral.
I pray thee do not mock me, fellow student. I think it was to see my mother's wedding.
Indeed, my lord, it followed hard upon.
What a thrift, Horatio. The funeral baked meats did coldly furnish forth the marriage tables. Would I had met my dearest foe in heaven, ere I'd ever seen that day. Horatio, my father. Methinks I see my father.
Where, my lord?
In my mind's eye, Horatio.
Saw him once. He was a goodly king.
He was a man, taken for all and all. I shall not look upon his life again.
My lord, I think I saw him yesternight.
Saw who?
My lord, the king, your father.
King, my father.
Season your admonition for a while with an attent ear, while I may deliver. Upon the witness of these gentlemen, this model to you.
For God's love, let me hear.
2 nights together have these gentlemen, Marcellus and Bernardo, in the dead waste in the middle of the night, been thus encountered. A figure like your father, armed at all points exactly, half a pay, appears before them, and with solemn march goes slow and stately by them, whilst they, still almost jelly with the act of fear, stand dumb and speak not to him. This to me in dreadful secrecy impart they did. And I within the 3rd night kept the watch, where, as they had delivered, both in time, form of the thing, each word made true and good. The apparition comes. I knew your father. These hands are not more light.
But where was this?
My lord, upon the platform where we watched.
Did you not speak to it?
My lord, I did, but answer made it none. Yet once we thought it lifted up its head and did address itself to motion, like as it would speak. But even then the morning cock grew loud, and at the sound it shrunk and hasted away and vanished from our sight.
'Tis strange.
As I do live, my honored lord, it is true. And would you think it writ down in our duty to let you know of it?
Indeed, sirs, but this troubles me. Hold you the watch tonight?
We do, my
We do.
lord.
Armed, say you.
Armed, my
From
lord.
top to toe.
My lord, from head to foot.
Head to
Saw
foot.
you not its face.
Did my lord, he wore his beaver up.
What looked you frowningly?
A countenance more in sorrow than in anger.
Pale or red?
Nay, very
And
pale.
fixed his eyes upon you.
Most constantly.
Would I had been there.
It would have much amazed you.
Very like. Stayed it long.
While one with moderate haste might tell 100.
Longer.
Longer.
Not when I saw it.
His beard was grizzled, no?
It was as I've seen it in his life, a sable silver.
I will watch tonight. Perchance he'll walk again.
I warrant it will.
If it assume my noble father's person, I will speak to it. Though hell itself should gape and bid me hold my peace. I pray you all, if you have hitherto concealed this sight, let it be trouble in your silence still. And whatsoever else shall hap tonight, give it an understanding but no tongue. I will requite your loves. Upon the platform twixt 11 and 12 I'll visit you. Our
All
duty,
duty to your honor.
honor.
your loves is mine to you. Farewell. My father's spirit in arms. All is not well. I doubt some foul play. Would the night were come. Till then, sit still, my soul. Foul deeds will rise, though all the earth overwhelm them to men's eyes.
The necessaries are embarked. Farewell. And, sister, as the winds give benefit and the convoy is assistant, do not sleep, but let me hear from you.
Do you doubt that?
For Hamlet, in the trifling of his favor, hold it a fashion and a toy in blood, a violet in the youth of prime nature, froward, not permanent, sweet, not lasting, the perfume and supplings of a minute, no more.
No more but so.
Think it no more. Perchance he loves you now, and now no soil, no cultivar besmirch the virtue of his will. But you must fear, his greatness wave, his will is not his own, for he himself is subject to his birth. He may not, as unvalued persons do, carve for himself, for on his choice depends the sanctity and health of the whole state, and therefore must his choice be circumscribed into the voice and yielding of that body whereof he is the head. Then, if he says he loves you, it fits your wisdom so far to believe it, as he in whose particular act and place may give his saying deed, which is no further than the main voice of Denmark goes withal. Then, where what loss your honor may sustain, if with too credent ear you list his songs, or lose your heart, or your chaste treasure open to his unmastered importunity. Fear it, Ophelia. Fear it, my dear sister, and keep within the rear of your affection, out of the shot and danger of desires. The cherished maid is prodigal enough that she unmask her beauty to the moon. Be wary then. Best safety lies in fear. Youth to itself rebels, though none else near.
I shall the effect of this good lesson keep as watchman to my heart. But good my brother, do not as some ungracious pastors do, show me the steep and thorny way to heaven, whilst like a puffed and reckless libertine, himself the primrose path of dalliance treads and recks not his own reed.
Oh, fear me not. I stay too long, for here my father comes. A double blessing is a double grace. Occasion smiles upon a second lead.
Yet early it is. Aboard, for shame. The wind sits on the shoulder of your sail, and you are stayed for. There, my blessing And these few precepts in my memory see thou character. Give thy thoughts no tongue, nor any unproportioned thought his act. Be thou familiar, but by no means vulgar. Those friends thou hast, and their adoption tried, grapple them into your soul with hoops of steel. But do not dull thy palm with entertainment of each new-hatched, unfledged comrade. Beware of entrance to a quarrel, but being in it, bear it, that the opposed may beware of thee. Give every man thy ear, but few thy voice. Take each man's censure, but reserve thy judgment. Costly thy habit as thy purse can buy, but not expressed in fancy, rich, not vulgar. For the apparel oft proclaims the man, and they in France of the best rank and station are of a most select and generous in that. Neither a borrower nor a lender be.
For loan oft loses both itself and friend, and borrowing dulls the edge of husbandry.
Oh. This above all, to thine own self be true, and it must follow as the night the day, thou canst not then be false to any man. Farewell, my blessing seasons me.
Most humbly do I take my leave, my lord.
The time invites you, or go your servants tend.
Farewell, Ophelia, and remember well what I have said to you.
'Tis in my memory locked, and you yourself shall keep the key of it.
Farewell.
What is it, Ophelia, he has said to you?
So please you, something touching the Lord Hamlet.
Very well bethought. 'Tis told me he hath very oft of late given private time to you. And you yourself have of your audience been most free and bounteous. If it be so, as so 'tis put on me, and that in way of caution, I must tell you, you do not understand yourself so clearly as it becomes my daughter and your honor. What is between you? Give me up the truth.
He hath, my lord, of late made many tenders of his affection to me.
Affections? Pooh! You speak like a green girl unsifted in such perilous circumstances. Do you believe his tenders, as you call them?
I do not know, my lord, what I should think.
Mary, I'll teach you. Think yourself a baby, that you have ta'en his tenders for true pay, which are not sterling. Tender yourself more dearly, or, not to crack the wind of the poor phrase, running it thus, you'll tender to me a fool.
My lord, he importuned me with love in honorable fashion.
Fashion, go to.
I have given countenance to his speech, my lord, with all the vows of heaven.
I springes to catch woodcocks. I do know when the blood burns how prodigal the soul lends the tongue vows. For Lord Hamlet believes so much in him that he is young, and with a larger tether may he walk than may be given to. In a few, Ophelia, do not believe his vows, for they are brokers. Not of that dye which their investments show, but mere implorators of unholy suits, breathing like sanctified and pious bawds, the better to beguile. This is for all. I would not, in plain terms, from this time forth, have you give audience to Hamlet or talk to the Lord Hamlet. Look to it, I order it. Come your ways.
Shall obey, my lord.
The air by truthly is very cold.
It is a nipping and an eager air.
What hour now?
I think it lacks of 12.
No, it has struck.
Indeed? I heard it not. Then it draws near the season when the spirit held us want to walk. What does this mean, my lord?
The king doth wake tonight, and takes his rouse, keeps wassail and swaggering up spring reels, and as he drains his draughts of Rhenish down, the kettle drum and trumpet thus bray out the triumph of his pledge.
Is it a custom?
I'm merriest. To my mind, though I'm native here and to the manor born, it is a custom more honored in the breach than the observance.
Look, my lord, it comes!
Angels and ministers of grace defend us. Be thou a spirit of health or a goblin damned. Bring with thee airs from heaven or blasts from hell. Be thy intents wicked or charitable. Thou comest in such a questionable shape that I will speak to thee. I'll call thee Hamlet, King, Father, Royal Dane. Oh, answer me! Let me not burst in ignorance, but tell why thy canonized bones, hearsed in death, have burst their cerements. Why the sepulchre, when I saw thee quietly inert, hath oped its ponderous and marble jaws to cast thee up again. What may this mean? Say, why is this? Wherefore, what should we do?
Look with what courteous action it waves you to a more removed ground, but do not go with it.
No, by no means.
It will not speak, and I will follow it.
Do not, my lord.
Why? What should be the fear? I do not set my life in a pin's fee, and for my soul, what can it do to that, being a thing immortal as itself? Raise me forth again, I'll follow it.
What if it tempt you toward the flood, my lord? What if some dreadful summit of the cliff that beetles o'er its base into the sea? And there assumes some other horrible form that might deprive your sovereignty of reason and draw you into madness. Think on it.
It waves me still. Go on, I'll follow thee.
You shall not go.
Hold off your hand.
Ruled, you shall not go.
My faith cries out and makes each petty artery in this body as hardy as the mean lion's nerve. Still my called. Unhand me, gentlemen, by heaven. I'll make a ghost of ye that lets me. I say away. Go on, I'll follow thee.
He waxes desperate with imagination.
Let's follow. 'Tis not fit thus to obey him.
Have after. To what issue may this come?
Something is rotten in the state of Denmark.
Heaven will direct it.
Nay, let's follow him.
Whither wilt thou lead me? Speak. I'll go no further.
Mock me.
I will.
My hour is almost come, when I to torturous and sulphurous flames must render up myself.
Alas, poor ghost!
Pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold.
Speak. I am bound to hear.
So art thou to revenge when thou shalt hear.
What?
I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night, and for the days, confined to fast and fires, to the foul crimes done in my days of nature, burnt, purged away. But that I am forbid to tell the secrets of my prison house, I could a tale unfold, whose lightest word would harrow up thy soul, freeze thy young blood, make thy two eyes like stars start from their spheres, thy knotted and confined locks to part, and each particular hair to stand on end, like quills upon the fretful porpentine. But this eternal blazon cannot be to ears of flesh and blood. List, Hamlet, oh list, if thou didst ever thy dear father love,
Oh, God.
revenge his foul and most unnatural murder.
Murder?
Murder most foul is the best it is, but this most foul, strange, and unnatural.
Haste me to know it, that I with wings as swift as meditation and the thoughts of love may sweep to my revenge.
I find thee apt. And duller shouldst thou be than the fat weed that roots itself at these on leafy wharf, wouldst thou not stir in this. Now, Hamlet, hear. 'Tis given out that sleeping in my orchard a serpent stung me. So is the whole ear of Denmark, by a forged process of my death, rankly abused. But know, thou noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy father's life now wears his crown.
Oh, my prophetic soul, my uncle.
Aye, that incestuous, that adulterous beast, with witchcraft of his wit, with traitorous gifts. Oh, wicked wit and gifts that have the powers so to seduce one to his shameful lust, the will of my most seeming virtuous queen. Oh, Hamlet, what a falling off was there from me, whose love was of that dignity that it went hand in hand e'en with the vow I made to her in marriage, and to decline upon a wretch whose natural gifts were poor to those of mine. But soft, methinks I scent the morning air. Brief let me be. Sleeping in my orchard, my custom always of the afternoon, upon my secure hour, thy uncle stole with juice of cursed Hebena in a vial, and in the porches of mine ears did pour the leprous distilment, whose effect holds such an enmity with blood of man that, swift as quicksilver, it courses through the natural gates and alleys of the body, and with a sudden vigor doth posset and curd like eager droppings into milk the thin and wholesome blood. So did it mine, and a most instant terror barked about with lazar-like crust all my smooth body. Thus was I, sleeping by a brother's hand, of life, of crown, of queen, at once dispatched, cut off, e'en in the blossom of my sin, unhoused, disappointed, unannealed, no reckoning made, but sent to my account with all my imperfections on my head. Oh, horrible, horrible, most horrible. If thou hast nature in thee, bear it not. Let not the royal bed of Denmark become a couch for luxury and damned incest. But howsoever thou pursuest this act, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother aught. Leave her to heaven, and to the thorns that in her bosom lodge to prick and sting her. Fare thee well at once. The glowworm shows the matin to be neared, begins to pale his uneffectual fire. Adieu. Adieu. Adieu.
Remember me. Oh, all you hosts of heaven. Oh, earth, what else? And shall I couple hell? Oh, fie. Remember thee? I, thou poor ghost, while memory holds a seat, in this distracted globe, remember thee. Yea, from the table of my memory, I'll wipe away all trivial fond records, all saws of books, all forms, all pressures past that youth and observation copied there. And thy commandment, all alone, shall live within the book, any volume of my brain unmixed with baser matters. Yes, by heaven. Oh, most pernicious woman. Oh, villain. Villain. Smiling, damned villain. My tables, my tables. Neat. It is, I set it down that one may smile and be a villain. At least, I'm sure it may be so in Denmark. So, uncle, there you are. Now to my word. It's adieu. Adieu. Remember me. I have sworn it.
My lord! My lord!
What happened?
Have it secure him!
So be it.
Hello, my lord!
Hello, hello, boy! Come, bird, come!
I'll respond, noble lord.
What news, my lord?
Oh, wonderful.
Could my lord tell it?
No, you'll reveal it.
Not I, my lord, by heaven.
Nor I, my lord. How say you then, when heart of man once thinketh it will be secret?
I, by heaven, my lord.
There's ne'er a villain dwelling in all of Denmark but he's an errant knave.
And he's no ghost come from the grave, my lord, tell us this.
Quite right, you are in the right. And so without more circumstance at all, I hold it fit that we shake hands and part. You as your business and desire shall point you, for every man has business and desire such as it is. For my own poor part, look you, I'll go pray.
These are but wild and whirling words,
I'm
my
sorry they've offended you heartily. Yes, faith heartily.
There's no offense, my lord.
Yes, by St. Patrick, but there is, Horatio, and much offense too, touching this vision here. 'Tis an honest ghost. That, let me tell you. For your desire to know what is between us, O master it as you may. And so, good friends, as you are friends, scholars and soldiers, give me one poor request.
What is, my lord, we will?
Never to make known what you have seen tonight. We will not.
We will not.
Nay, but swear it.
In faith, my lord, not I.
Nor I, my lord, in faith.
Upon my sword.
We have sworn, my lord, already.
Upon my sword, indeed. Aha, boy. Sayest thou so? Art thou there, True Come on, there is a fellow in his celebrity. Consent to swear.
Propose the oath, my lord.
Never to make known what you have seen tonight. Swear by my sword. He got you, Bickway? And we'll shift our ground. Come hither, gentlemen, and lay your hands again upon my sword. Never to speak of this which you have heard. Swear by my sword. Well said, old mole. Canst thou work in the earth so fast, worthy pioneer? Once more removed, good friends.
Oh, day and night, but this is wondrous strange.
Therefore, as a stranger, give it welcome. There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in our philosophy. But come, here, as before, never, so help you mercy, have strange or odd soe'er I bear myself, as I perchance hereafter shall think it meet to put an antic disposition on, that you, at such time, seeing me, never shall, with arms encumbered thus, or with this head shaker by, pronouncing of some doubtful phrase, as well we know, or we could, and if we would, or if we list to speak, or there be, and if they might, or such ambiguous giving out to note that you know aught of me, this not to do. So grace and mercy at your most need help, you swear.
Swear!
Rest, perturbed spirit. And so, gentlemen, all my love I do commend me to you. And what so poor a man as Hamlet is may do to express his love and friending to you, God willing, shall not lack. Let us go in together, and still your fingers on your lips, I pray. Time is out of joint. Oh, cursed spite, that ever I was born to set it right. And come, let's go together.
Give him this, my money and these notes, Sir Rinaldo.
Oh, I will, my lord.
Ha! You shall do marvelously wisely, good Rinaldo, before you visit him to make inquire of his behavior.
My lord, I did intend it.
Oh, well said, very well said. Look to it. Inquire me first what Danskers are in Paris, and how, and who, what means, where they do keep, with what companies, what expense. And finding by this encompassment and drift of question that they do know my son, come you more near than your particular demands will touch it. Take you as 'twere some distant knowledge of him. As thus, I know his father and his friends, and in part him. Do you mark me?
Aye, very well, my lord.
And in part him, but you may say not very well. If it be he I mean, he's very wild, addicted, so-and-so, and there put on him what forgeries you may please. Very none so rank as may dishonor him, take heed of that. But, such usual slips as our companions noted and made known to youth and liberty.
As, gaming, my lord?
Aye, drinking, fencing, swearing, quarreling, drabbing, you may go so far.
My lord, that would dishonor him.
Faith, no. I thought you may season it in the charge. You must not put another scandal on him that he is open to incontinency. That's not my meaning. But breathe his faults so quaintly that they may seem the faults of liberty, the flash and outbreak of a fiery mind, the savageness and unreclaimed blood of general assault.
But my good lord!
Wherefore should you do that?
Aye, my lord, I would know that.
Mary, here's my drift, and I believe it is effectual warrant. You laying these slight sullies on my son, as 'twere a thing a little soiled in the working. Mark you, your party in converse, hear me with sound, having ever seen in the predominant crimes the youth you breathe of guilty, be assured he closes with you in this consequence. Good sir, or friend, or gentleman, according to the phrase or the addition of man and country.
Very good, my lord.
I was about to say something. Where did I leave?
At closes in consequence? At a friend or so and gentleman?
Well, it closes in consequence. He closes thus. I do know the gentleman. I saw him yesterday, or the other day, or then and then, with such and such. And as you say, there was a gaming. There o'ertook in a rout. There a falling out at tennis. Or perchance I saw him enter such a house of sale. The illicit a brothel, or so forth. See you now, your bait of falsehood takes this carp of truth, and thus do we of wisdom and of reach, with windlasses and with assays of bias, by indirections find directions out. So by my former wisdom and advice shall you, my son, do you have me?
My lord, I have.
God be with you.
My good lord.
No. Observe his inclination in yourself.
I shall, my lord.
And let him ply his music.
Well, my lord.
How now, Ophelia, what's the matter?
Alas, my lord, I've been so frightened.
Oh, with what in the name of God?
My lord, as I was sewing in my chamber, Lord Hamlet, with his doublet all unbraced, no hat upon his head, his stockings fouled, unguarded and down jibed to his ankle, as pale as his shirt, his knees knocking each other, and with a look so piteous in report, as if he had been loosed out of hell to speak of horrors, he comes before me.
Mad for thy love?
My lord, I do not know, but truly I do fear it.
What said he?
He took me by the wrist, and held me hard, and then goes he to the length of all his arm, and with his other hand thus o'er his brow, he falls such a perusal of my face as he would draw it. Long stayed he so. At last a little shaking of mine arm, and thrice his head thus waving up and down, he raised a sigh so piteous and profound, as it did seem to shadow all his bulk and end his being. That done, he lets me go. And with his head over his shoulder turned, he seemed to find his way without his eyes, for out of doors he went without their help, and to the last spended their light on me.
Come and go with me, I will go seek the king. This is the very ecstasy of love, whose violent property foredoes itself and leads the will to desperate undertakings, as oft as any passion under heaven that does afflict our natures. I am sorry. What, have you given him any hard words of late?
No, my lord, as you command, I did repel his letters and denied his access to me.
That hath made him mad. I am sorry that with better heed and judgment I had not quoted him. I feared he did but trifle and meant to wreck thee. But beshrew my jealousy. By heaven, it seems as proper to our age to cast beyond ourselves in our opinions as it is common for the younger sort to lack discretion. Come, go we to the king. This must be known, which, being kept close, might move more grief to hide than hate to utter love.
Welcome, dear Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Moreover, though we much did long to see you, the need we had to use you did provoke our hasty sending. Something you have heard of Hamlet's transformation? So call it, since not the inward man nor the exterior resembles that it was. What it should be, more than his father's death, that doesn't put him so much from the understanding of himself, I cannot dream of. I entreat you both, that, being of so young date, brought up with him, and since so neighbor to his youth and humor, that you vouchsafe your rest here in our court some little time, so by your companies to draw him on to pleasures, and to gather, so much as from occasion you may glean, whether aught, us unknown, afflicts him thus, that open lies within our remedy.
Good gentleman, he hath much talked of you, and sure I am 2 men there are not living to whom he more adheres. If it will please you to show us so much gentry and goodwill as to expend your time with us a while for the supply and profit of our hope, your visitation shall receive such thanks as fits a king's remembrance.
Both your majesties might, by the sovereign power you have of us, put your dread pleasures more into command than to entreaty.
But we both obey, and here give up ourselves in the full bend to lay our services freely at your feet to be commanded.
Thank you, Guildenstern and gentle Rosencrantz.
Thanks, Guildenstern and gentle Rosencrantz, and I beseech you instantly to visit my too much changed son.
Heaven make our presence and our practices pleasant and helpful to him.
Aye, amen.
The ambassadors from Norway, my good lord, are joyfully returned.
Thou hast still been the father of good news.
Have I, my lord? I assure you, my good liege, I take my duty as I take my soul, both to my God and to my gracious king. And I do think, or else this brain of mine hunts not the trail of wisdom so sure as it hath used to do, that I have the very cause of Hamlet's lunacy.
Oh, speak of that. That do I long to hear.
I give first admittance to the ambassadors. My news shall be the fruit to that great peace.
Thyself do grace to them, and bring them in. He tells me, my sweet queen, he hath found the head and source of all your son's distemper.
I doubt it is no other but the main, his father's death and our or hasty marriage.
Well, we shall sift him. Welcome, dear friends. Say, Baltimore, what from our brother Norway?
Most fair return of greetings and desires. Upon our first, he set out to suppress his nephew's levies, sends out arrests on Fortinbras, which he, in brief, obeys, receives rebuke from Norway, and in fine, makes vows before his uncle nevermore to give the assay of arms against your majesty. Whereupon all Norway, overcome with joy, gives him 3,000 crowns in annual fee, and commissioned to employ his soldiers, levied as before, against the Polack. With an entreaty, herein further shown, that it may please you to give quiet pass through your dominions in his enterprise, with such regards of safety and allowance as thereon are set down.
It likes us well. And at our more considered time, we will read, answer, and think upon this business. Meantime, we thank you for your well-took labors. Go to your rest, and night we'll feast together. Most welcome home.
This business is well ended, my liege and madam. To expostulate what majesty should be, what duty is, why day is day, night, night, and time is time, were nothing but to waste night, day, and time. Therefore, since brevity is the soul of wit, and tediousness its limbs and outward flourishes, I will be brief. Your noble son is mad. Mad call I it, for to define true madness, what is it? But to be nothing else but mad, but let that go.
More matter with less art.
Madam, I swear I use no art. That he is mad, 'tis true. 'Tis true, 'tis pity, 'tis pity, 'tis true. A foolish figure, but farewell it, for I will use no art. Mad, let us grant him then, and now remains that we find out the cause of this effect, or rather say the cause of this defect, for this effect defective comes by cause, thus it remains, and the remainder thus. To perpend, I have a daughter, well, she is mine, who in her duty and obedience, mark, hath given me this. Now gathered and surmise. To the celestial and my soul's idol, the most beautified Ophelia. That's a vile phrase. That's an ill phrase. Beautified is a vile phrase. But you shall hear thus. In her excellent white bosom, these...
Came this from Hamlet to her?
Good madam, stay a while, I will be faithful. Doubt thou the stars of fire, doubt that the sun doth move, doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love. O dear Ophelia, I am ill at these numbers, I have no art to reckon my groans, but that I do love thee best, dear lady, best. Believe it, adjure, Hamlet. This in obedience my daughter hath shown me, and more above hath his solicitings, as they fell out, by time, by means, and place, all given to mine ear.
But how has she received his love?
What do you think of me?
As of a man, faithful and honorable.
I'd fain prove so, but what might you think when I had seen this hot love on the wing? As I perceived it, I must tell you that before my daughter told me. What might you, my dear majesty, your queen here, think if I had played the desk or table book, or given my heart a winking mute and dumb, or looked upon this love with idle sight? What might you think? No, I went round to work, and my young mistress thus I did bespeak. Lord Hamlet is a prince out of thy star. This must not be. And then my precepts gave her that she should lock herself from his resort, accept no messengers, receive no tokens. Which done, she took the fruits of my advice, and here repulsed a short tale to tell, fell into a sadness, then to a fast, thence to a weakness, thence to a watch, thence to a lightness, and by this declension into the madness wherein now he raves.
Do you think 'tis this? It may be, very likely.
Hath there been such a time, I'd fain know that I have positively said 'tis so when it proved otherwise?
Not that I know.
Take this from this, if this be so. If circumstances lead me, I will find where truth is hid, though it were hid indeed within the center.
How may we try it further?
You know, sometimes he walks 4 hours together here in the lobby.
So he does indeed.
At such a time, I'll loose my daughter to him. You and I behind an aeroplane. Mark the encounter, if he love her not, and be not from his reason fallen thereon. Let me be no assistant for a state, but keep a farm and quarters.
We'll try it further.
But look where sadly the poor wretch comes reading.
Away! I do beseech you both away. I'll find him presently. How does my good Lord Hamlet?
Well, God have mercy.
Do you know me, my lord?
Excellent, excellent. Well, you're a fishmonger.
Oh, not I, my lord.
I would you were so honest a man.
Honest, my lord?
I say, to be honest as this world goes is to be one man picked out of 2,000.
That's very true, my
From the
lord.
sun breed maggots in a dead dog, being a good kissing carrion. Have you a daughter?
I have, my lord.
Let her not walk in the sun. Conception is a blessing, but not as your daughter may conceive. Friend, look to it.
How say you by that? Still harping on my daughter. And yet he knew me not at first. He said I was a fishmonger. He's far gone, far gone. And truly in my youth I suffered much extremity for love very near this. I'll speak with him again. What do you read, my lord?
Words. Words. Words.
What is the matter, my lord?
You mean who?
What is the matter that you mean?
Slander, sir. The satirical slave says here that old men have gray beards, that their faces are wrinkled, their eyes purging thick amber and plum tree gum, and that they have a plentiful lack of wit, together with most weak hands. All which, sir, I most powerfully and potently believe. Yet I hold it not honesty to have it thus set down, that you yourself should be as old as I am, if, like a crab, you could go backward.
Though this be madness, yet there is method in it. Will you go out in the air, my lord?
Into my grave.
That's very true. How pregnant sometimes his replies are. A happiness that often madness hits on. That youth and liberty are not so prosperously delivered of. I'll take my leave of him, and suddenly contrive the means of meeting between him and my daughter. Most honorable lord, I will humbly beseech you to take me.
You cannot, sir, take from me anything.
that I will not more willingly part with all. Accept my life. Accept my life. Accept my life.
Very well, my lord.
These tedious old fools.
You go to seek the Lord, Hamlet, there.
God save you, sir.
Mine honored lord.
My most dear lord.
My excellent good friends! How dost thou, Guildenstern? Ah, Rosencrantz! Good lads, how do ye both?
As the indifferent children of the earth.
Happy that we are not over happy. On fortune's cap we are not the very button.
Oh, on the sole of her shoe.
Neither, my lord.
Then you live about her waist or in the middle of her favors.
They, her privates we.
In the secret parts of fortune. Almost true. She's a strumpet. What's the news?
None, my lord, but that the world's grown honest.
And is doomsday near? If your news is not true, let me question you in more particular. What have you, my good friends, deserved at the hands of fortune that she sends you to prison hither?
Prison, my lord.
Denmark's a prison.
Then is the world one?
A goodly one, in which there are many confines, wards, and dungeons. Denmark being one of the worst.
We think not so, my lord.
Or then 'tis none of you. There's nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. To me, it's a prison.
Why then, your ambition makes it one. Just too narrow for your mind.
Oh God, I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space. Were it not that I had bad dreams.
Which dreams indeed are ambition, for the very substance of the ambitious is merely the shadow of a dream.
The dream itself is but a shadow.
Truly, and I hold ambition in so airy and light a quality that it is but a shadow's shadow.
Then our beggars' bodies and our monarchs and our outstretched heroes, beggars' shadows. Shall we to the court, for by my fay I cannot reason.
We'll wait upon you.
No such matter. I will not sort you with the rest of my servants. For to speak to you like an honest man, I am most dreadfully attended. But in the beaten way of friendship, what make you at Elsinore?
Is it you, my lord? No occasion.
Beggar that I am. I'm even poor in thanks, but I thank you. And sure, dear friends, my thanks are too dear a halfpenny. Were you not sent for? Is it a free visitation? Is it of your own inclining? Deal justly with me. Come, nay, speak.
What should we say, my lord?
Why, anything but to the purpose. You were sent for, and there's a kind of confession in your looks which your modesties have not craft enough to color. I know the king and queen have sent for you.
What end, my lord?
That you must teach me. But let me conjure you by the rights of our fellowship, by the constancy of our youth, by the obligation of our ever-preserved love, by what more dear, better purpose a proposer could charge you withal. Be even and direct with me, whether you were sent for or no.
What say you?
Nay then, I have an eye of you. If you love me, hold not off.
My lord, we were sent for.
I shall tell you why. So shall my anticipation prevent your discovery, and your secrecy to the king and queen molt no further. I have, of late, whereat I know not, lost all my mirth, forgone all custom of exercise, and indeed it goes so heavily with my disposition. This goodly frame, the earth, seems to me a sterile promontory. Look, this most excellent canopy, the air, look you, this brave o'erhanging firmament, this majestical roof fretted with golden fire. It appears no other thing to me than a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What a piece of work is a man! How noble in reason, how infinite in faculty, in form and moving, how express and admirable, in action, how like an angel, in apprehension, how like a god, the beauty of the world, the paragon of animals. Yet to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me, nor woman neither, though by your smiling you seem to say so.
My lord, there is no such stuff in my thoughts.
Why did you laugh then when I said man delights not me?
To think, my lord, if you delight not in man, what Lenten entertainment the players shall receive of you. We called to them on the way, and hither are they coming to offer you their service.
What players are they?
Even those as you are wont to take delight in, the tragedians of the city.
Friends, you are welcome to Elsinore. Cup your hands. The appurtenance of welcome is fashion and ceremony. Let me comply with you in this garb. Thus my extent to the players, which I tell you must show fairly outward, seem more like entertainment than yours. You are welcome to Elsinore. But my uncle father and aunt mother are deceived.
In what, my lord?
I am but mad northwest. When the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw.
I'll be with you, gentlemen.
Hark you, Guildenstern, you two at each ear here. That great baby you see there is not yet out of his swaddling cloths.
Happily, he's the second time come. Remember, they say an old man is twice a child.
I will prophesy he comes to tell me of the players. Mark it. You say right, sir, on Monday morning 'twas then indeed.
My lord, I have news to tell you.
My lord, I have news to tell you. When Rosius, an actor in Rove.
The actors are coming there, my lord.
Buzz.
The best actors in the world. Whether for tragedy, comedy, history, pastoral comical, historical pastoral, tragical historical, tragical comical historical pastoral, scene indivisible, or poem unlimited. Seneca cannot be too heavy, and our plot is too light. For the law of writ and the liberty, these are the only men.
Oh, Jephthah, judge of Israel, what a treasure hast thou!
What treasure had he, my lord?
Why, one fair daughter, and no more, the which he loved passing well.
Still my daughter.
Am I not in the right, old Jephthah?
If you call me Jephthah, I have a daughter that I love passing well.
Nay, that follows not.
What follows then, my lord?
Why, as by what God locked, and then you know it came to pass as much like it was. But first for a pious chanson will show you more. For look, when my abridgments come! You're welcome, masters! Welcome all! I'm glad to see thee well. Oh, my old friend. My face is valiant since I saw thee last. Comes thou to beard me in Denmark. What, my young lady and mistress? My dear lady, your ladyship is nearer to heaven than when I saw you last. My, the altitude of the Chopin. My God, your voice, like a piece of uncurrent gold, be not cracked within the ring. Masters, you are welcome all. We'll have a speech straight. Come, give us a taste of your quality, a passionate speech.
What speech, my lord?
I heard thee speak me a speech once, but it was never acted. Or if it was, not above once. For the play, as I remember, pleased not the million. 'Twas caviar to the general, but it was as I received it, and others whose judgments in such matters cried to the top of mine, an excellent play. Well digested in the scenes, and set down with as much modesty as cunning. One speech in it I chiefly loved. 'Twas Aeneas' tale to Dido. Thereabout especially where he speaks of Priam's slaughter. If it live in your memory, begin at this line. Let me see. The rugged Pyrrhus, like the Hyrcanian beast. It is not so. It begins with Pyrrhus. The rugged Pyrrhus, he whose sable arms black as his purpose did the knight resemble when he lay couched in the Armidas horse, hath now this dread and black complexion smeared, with heraldry more dismal head to foot. Now is he total jewels, horridly tricked, with blood of fathers, mothers, daughters, sons, baked and encased in the parching streets, which led a tyrannous and damned light to their vile murder, roasted in wrath and fire, and thus o'ersized in coagulate gore, the hellish Pyrrhus, with eyes like carbuncles, old grandsire Priam seeks. So proceed you.
For God, my lord, very well spoken, with good diction and good accent.
Anon he finds him, striking too short his Greeks. His antique sword, rebellious to his arm, lies where it falls, repugnant to command. Uneven in the match, Pyrrhus at Priam drives, enraged, strikes wide. But with the whiff and wind of his fell sword, the unnerved father falls. Then senseless Ilium, seeming to feel this blow, with flaming top stoops to its base, and with a hideous crash takes prisoner Pyrrhus' ears. So, after Pyrrhus' pause, a roused vengeance sets him new a work, and never did the Cyclops' hammers fall on Mars' armor forged for proof he turned with less remorse than Pyrrhus' bleeding sword now falls on Priam.
This is too long.
You're jolted with barbers with your beard. Maybe hang on, or a jig, or a tale of Baudry, or he sleeps. Sail on, come to Hecuba.
But who, oh who had seen the Moblet Queen?
The Moblet Queen.
That's very good. Moblet Queen.
Run barefoot up and down, threatening the flames with bisen room. A clout upon that head where late the diadem stood. And for a robe, about her lank and all o'er team loins, a blanket, and the alarm of fear caught up. But if the gods themselves had seen her then, when she saw Pyrrhus make malicious sport in mincing with his sword her husband's limbs, the instant burst of clamor that she made, unless things mortal move them not at all, would have made milch the burning eyes of heaven, passion, God.
Look whether he hasn't turned his color, and his tears are in his eyes. Breathe more.
As well. We'll have thee speak out the rest soon. Good my lord, will you see these players well bestowed? Do you hear? Let them be well used, for they are the abstract and brief chronicles of the time. After your death, you had better have a bad epitaph than their ill report while you live.
My lord, I will use them according to their desert.
God's bodkins, man, much better. Use every man after his desert, and who should scape whipping? Use them after his own honor and dignity. The less they deserve, the more merits in your bounty. Take them in.
Come, sirs.
We'll have play tomorrow night. Just like near the old friend. You could play the murder of Gonzaga. Aye, my lord. Excellent. You could, for needs, study speech of some dozen or 16 lines, which I would set down and insert, could you not? Aye, my lord. Well, tomorrow night. Follow that lord there, and look you, mock him not. Friends, you're welcome to Elson. I'll leave you till night.
Good, my lord.
Hi. So God be with you. Now I am alone. Oh, what a rogue and peasant slave am I. Is it not monstrous that this player here, that in a fiction, in a dream of passion, could force his soul so to his own conceit that from her working all his visage wand, tears in his eyes, distraction in his aspect, a broken voice, and his whole function suing with forms to his own conceit, all for nothing. For Hecuba. It's Hecuba to him, or he to Hecuba, that he should weep for her. What would he do? Had he the motive and cue of passion that I have, he would drown the stage in tears, and cleave the general ear with horrid speech, make mad the guilty, and appall the free, confound the ignorant, and amaze indeed the very faculties of eyes and ears. Yet I, a dull, muddy-mettled rascal, peak like John o' Dreams, unpregnant of my cause, can nothing say. No, not for a king, upon whose property and most dear life a damned defeat was made. Am I a coward? Who calls me villain, breaks my pate across, plucks out my beard and blows it in my face, gives me the lie as deep as to my throat, tweaks me by the nose, who does me this? Ah, zoons, I should take it, for it cannot be, but that I am pigeon-livered and lack gall to make oppression bitter. Or this I should have fatted all the region kites with this slave's awful, bloody, body villain, remorseless, treacherous, lecherous, kindless villain! Oh, vengeance! What an ass am I. This is most brave. I, the son, dear father murdered, prompted to my revenge by heaven and hell, must like a whore unpack my heart in words, then fall a cursing like a drab, my very scullion fie on it! Oh! About my brain, I have heard that guilty creatures sitting before a play have, by the very cunning of the scene, been struck so to the soul that presently they pronounce their malefactions. For murder, though it have no tongue, yet it will speak with most miraculous organ. I'll have these players play something like the murder of my father before mine uncle. I'll observe his looks. I'll tempt him to the quick. If he but blench, I know my course. The spirit that we have seen may be the devil. The devil hath the power to assume a pleasing shape. Yea, and perhaps out of my very weakness and my melancholy, he is very potent with such things, abuses me to damn me. I'll have grounds more relative than this. The play's the thing, wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king.
By no drift of circumstance, get from him why he puts on his confusion, grating harshly all his quiet days, dangerous and turbulent lunacy.
He does confess he feels himself distracted, but from what cause you'll by no means speak.
Nor do we find him forward to be sounded, but with a crafty madness keeps aloof when we should put him on to some confession of his true estate.
Did he receive you well?
Most like a gentleman.
But with much forcing of his disposition.
Did you assay him to any pastime?
Madam, it's so thought that certain players we o'erwrought in the way, of these we told him, and that it seemed him kind of joy to hear of it. They are about the court, and as I think it, they have already ordered this night to play before him.
That is most true, and he beseeched me to treat your majesties to see and hear the matter.
Why, that must content me, and I'm very happy to do so. Good gentlemen, drive his purposes on to these delights, and give him a further edge.
We shall, my lord.
Sweet Gertrude, lead us too. For we have closely sent for Hamlet hither, that he may, as 'twere by accident, hear affront Ophelia. Her father and myself, lawful espials, will so bestow ourselves that seeing unseen, we may, from their encounter, frankly judge and gather by him as he has behaved, if it be the affliction of his love or no that thus he suffers for.
I shall obey you. And for your part, Ophelia, I do wish that your good beauties be the happy cause of Hamlet's wildness. So shall I hope your virtues will bring him to his wonted way again, to both your honors.
Madam, I wish it may.
Ophelia, walk you here. Gracious will please you, we will bestow ourselves. Look on this book. That show of such an exercise may color your loneliness. We are oft to blame in this. 'Tis too much proved that, that with devotion's visage and pious action we do sugar o'er the devil himself.
Oh, 'tis too true. A smart a lash this speech doth give my conscience. The harlot's cheek, beautied with plastering art, is not more ugly to the thing that helps it than is my deed to my most painted word. Oh, heavy burthen.
I hear him coming, my lord. Let's withdraw.
To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them. To die to sleep. No more. And by asleep to say we end the heartache and thousand natural shocks that flesh is heir to. It is consummation devoutly to be wished. To die. To sleep. To sleep, perchance to dream. Aye, there's the rub. From that sleep of death, what dreams may come when we have shuffled off this mortal coil must give us pause. There is the respect that makes calamity of so long life. For who would bear the whips and scorns of time, the oppressor's wrong, the proud man's contumely, the pains of disprized love, the law's delay, the insolence of office, and the spurns of patient merit of the unworthy takes, when he himself is quiet as snakes with a bare bodkin? When those spartles bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveller returns, puzzles the will. It makes us rather bear those ills we have, fly to others we know not of. Thus, conscience does make cowards of us all. And thus, the native hue of resolution sicklied o'er with the pale cast of thought. An enterprise, a great pith and moment, with this regard the currents turn awry and lose the name of action. Soft you now, fair Ophelia, nymph in thy orisons beyond thy sins remembered.
My lord, how does your honor for this many a day?
I humbly thank you.
Well.
Well.
My lord, I have remembrances of yours that I have longed to redeliver. I pray you now receive them.
No, not I never gave you up.
My honored lord, you know right well you did. And with them words of such sweet breath composed that made the things more rich. Their perfume lost, take these again. For to the noble mind rich gifts wax poor when givers prove unkind. There, my lord.
Are you honest?
My lord.
Are you fair?
What means your lord?
That if you be honest and fair, your honesty should admit no discourse to your beauty.
Could beauty, my lord, have better discourse than with honesty?
Aye, truly. For the power of beauty can so transform honesty to the point it is above, then honesty can translate beauty to his likeness. This was sometime a paradox, but now our time gives it proof. I did love you once.
Indeed, my lord, you made me believe so.
Should not have believed me. For virtue cannot so inoculate our old stock, but we relish of it. I loved you not.
And was the more deceived?
Get thee to a nunnery. Why would thou be a breeder of sinners? I am myself indifferent honest, and yet I can accuse me of such things. It were better my mother had not borne me. I am very proud, revengeful, ambitious, with more offenses at my back than I have thoughts to put them in, imagination to give them shape, or time to act them in. What should such fellows as I do, crawling between earth and heaven? We are errant knaves all, believe none of us. Go thy ways to a nunnery. Where is thy father?
At home, my lord.
Let the doors be shut upon him, that he may play the fool nowhere but in own's house. Farewell.
Oh, how come you, sweet heavens?
If thou just marry, I'll give thee this plague for thy dowry. Be thou as chaste as ice, as pure as snow. Thou shalt not escape calumny. To nunnery go. Or if thou wilt need marry a fool. Wise men know well enough what monsters you make of them. To a nunnery go, quickly to farewell.
Oh, heavenly powers restore.
I have heard of your paintings too, well enough. God has given you one face, and you make yourselves another. You jig, you amble, and you lisp, you nickname God's creatures, and make your wantonness your ignorance. Go to, I'll have no more honor. It hath made me mad. I say we'll have no more marriages. Those who are married already, all but one shall live. The rest shall keep as they are. To a nunnery. Go.
Oh, what a noble mind is here o'erthrown! Courtiers, soldiers, scholars, eye, tongue, sword. Expectancy and rose of the fair state, the glass of fashion and the mold of form. The observed of all observers. Quite down. And I, of ladies, most dejected and wretched that suck the honey of his music vows, thou see that noble and most sovereign reason like sweet bells jangled, out of tune and harsh, that unmatched form and feature of blown youth blasted with ecstasy. Oh, woe is me to see what I have seen, see what I see.
Love, affections do not that way tend. Know what he spake, though it like form a little, was not like madness. There is something in his soul, or which his melancholy sits on brood, and I do doubt the hatch and the disclose will be some danger. Which for to prevent I have, in quick determination set it down, thus he shall with speed to England, for the demand of our neglected tribute. Haply the sea, the country's different, but objects variable, shall expel this something settled matter in his heart, whereon his brain still beating puts him from the fashion of himself. What think you on it?
It shall do well, but yet do I believe the origin and commencement of his grief sprung from neglected love. And now, Ophelia, you need not tell us what Lord Hamlet said. We heard it all. My lord, do as you please. But if you hold it fit, after the play, let his queen mother all alone entreat him to show his grief. Let her be round with him, and I'll be placed so please you in the ear of all their company. If she find him not, to England send him, or confine him where your wisdom best shall be.
It shall be so. Madness and great ones must not unwatched go.
Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced it to you, trippingly on the tongue. But if you mouth it, as many of you players do, I had least the town crier spoke my lines. Nor you saw the air with your hand too much thus, but use all gently. For the very torrent tempest, and as I may say, the whirlwind of passion, you must acquire and beget a temperance that gives it smoothness. Oh, it offends me to the very soul to see a rambustuous, periwig-pated fellow tear a passion to tatters, to very rags, to split the ears of the groundlings, who, for the most part, are capable of nothing but inexorable dumb shows and noise. I would have such a fellow whipped for o'erdoing termagant, and out Herod's Herod, I pray you, avoid it.
I warrant your lord.
Be not too tame neither, but let your discretion be your tutor. Suit the action to the word to the action. But this special observance, o'erstep not the modesty of nature. For anything so overdone is for the purpose of playing, whose end, while that the first and now was and is, to hold as 'twere the mirror up to nature, to show virtue her own feature, to scorn her image, and the very age and body of the time his form and pressure. Now this done, or come tardy off, though it make the unskilful laugh, cannot but make the judicious grieve. The censor of one in your allowance must o'erweigh a whole theatre of others. Oh, there be players that I have seen play, and heard others praise, and that highly, not to speak it profanely, that neither having the accent of Christians, nor the gait of Christian pagan, nor no man, have so strutted and bellowed, that I had thought some of nature's journeymen had made men, and not made them well. They imitated humanity so abominably. I hope
hope we have reformed that indifferently with us.
Oh, reform it altogether. And let those that play your clowns speak no more than is set down for them. For there be of them that will themselves laugh, to say on some quantity of barren spectators to laugh too, while in the meantime some necessary question of the play be then to be considered. That's villainous, and shows a piteous ambition in the fool that uses it. Go, make you ready. Will the king hear this piece of work?
And the queen, and that's presently.
Bid the players make haste. Will you two help to hasten up?
Well, my lord.
Horatio!
Here, sweet lord, at your service.
Horatio, thou Ian is just a man, as in thy conversation coped withal.
Oh, good, my lord.
Hey, do not think I flatter. No, let the candid tongue lick absurd pomp to crook the pregnant hinges of the knee where thrift may follow folly. Dost thou hear? Since my dear soul was mistress of her choice, and could of men distinguish, her election hath sealed thee for herself. For thou hast been in one in suffering all that suffers nothing.
Aye.
A man that fortune buffets and rewards has ta'en equal thanks, and blessed be those whose blood and judgment are so well commingled that they are not a pipe for fortune's finger to sound what stop she please.
Aye.
Give me that man that is not passion's slave, and I will wear him in my heart's core. Aye, in my heart of hearts as I do thee. Something too much of this. There's a play tonight for the king. One scene of it comes near the circumstance which I have told you of my father's death. I pray thee, when thou seest the act afoot, e'en in the comment of thy soul, observe mine uncle. If his occulted guilt knots itself unkennel in one speech, it is a damned ghost that we have seen. And my imaginations are as foul as Vulcan's stiffy. Give him heedful note, for mine eyes will rivet to his face, and afterwards we both our judgments join in censure of his scene.
Well, my lord, if you steal out the whilst this play is playing and escape detecting, I shall pay the theft.
They are coming to the play. I must be idle. Get you a plate.
How fares my cousin Hamlet?
Excellent in faith. Of the chameleon's dish I eat the air. Promise cram. Not be capon so.
I have nothing with this answer, Hamlet. These words are not mine.
Are mine now. My lord, you played once at the university, you say?
No, that dead iron was accounted a good act.
What did you enact?
I did enact a joyous Caesar. I was killed in the capital. Brutus killed me.
That was a brute part of him to kill so capital a cat there. Be the players ready.
Aye, my lord, they stay upon your patience.
Come hither, my dear Hamlet. Sit by me.
No, mother. There's metal more attractive.
No, do not.
Lady, shall I lie in your lap?
No, my lord.
I mean my head upon your lap.
Aye, my lord.
Did you think I meant country matters?
I think nothing, my lord.
That's a fair thought, lie betwixt a maid's legs.
What is?
And nothing.
You are merry, my lord.
Who, I?
Aye, my lord.
God, you're only jig maker. What should a man do but be merry? For look you, how cheerfully my mother sits. And my father died within these 2 hours.
Nay, 'tis twice 2 months, my lord.
So long? Nay then, the devil wear black, for all have a suit of sables. Died 2 months ago and not forgotten yet. Then there's hope a great man's memory may outlive his life half a year.
I'll mark the play.
For us and for our tragedy, here stooping to your clemency, we beg your hearing patiently.
Is this the prologue or the posy of a ring?
'Tis brief, my lord.
As a woman's love.
Full 30 times hath Phoebus' cart gone round Neptune's salt wash and Tellus' orbit ground, and 30 dozen moons with borrowed sheen about the world have times 12 30s been, since love our hearts and hymen did our hands unite commutual in most sacred band.
So many journeys may the sun and moon make us again count o'er, ere love be done. But woe is me, you are so sick of late, so far from cheer and from your former state. Now what my love is, proof hath made you know, and as my love is sized, my fear is so. Where love is great, the littlest doubts are fear. Where little fears grow great, great love grows there.
Faith, I must leave thee, love, and shortly too. My operant powers their functions leave to you. You shalt live in this fair world behind. Haply, but haply one as kind, for husband shalt thou.
Oh, confound the rest! Such love must needs be treason in my breast. In second husband let me be accursed. None wed the second, but who killed the first.
Wormwood.
The instances that second marriage move are base respects of thrift, but none of love. A second time I kill my husband dead, when second husband kisses me in bed.
I do believe you think what now you speak, but what we do determine oft we break. For 'tis a function lest us yet to prove whether love lead fortune or else fortune love. But orderly to end where I begun, our wills and fates do so contrary run that our devices still are overthrown. Our thoughts are ours, their ends none of our own. So think thou wilt no second husband wed, but die thy thoughts when thy first lord is dead.
Nor earth to give me food, nor heaven light. Sport and repose luck from me day and night. To desperation turn my trust and hope, and anchor's cheer in prison be my scope. Each opposite that blanks the face of joy, meet what I would have well, and it destroy. Both here and hence pursue me lasting strife, if once a widow, ever I be wife.
'Tis deeply sworn. Sweet, leave me here a while. My spirits grow dull, and fain I would beguile the tedious day with sleep.
Sleep rock thy brain, and never come mischance between us twain.
Madam, how like you this play?
The lady doth protest too much, methinks.
Don't keep her word.
Have you heard the argument? Is there no offense in it?
No, they do it jest. Poison and jest. No offense in the world.
What do you call the play?
The Mousetrap. There it is. How appropriate. This play is the image of a murder done in Vienna. Gonzago's the duke's name. His wife, Baptista, you shall see on. The knave is piece of work. But what of that? Your majesties and we that have free souls, it touches us not. The gall of jade wints our withers on rum. This is one Lucianus, nephew to the king.
You were as good as a chorus, my lord.
I could interpret between you and your loves if I could see the puppets dallying.
You are keen, my lord, you are keen.
Cost you a groaning to take off my edge.
Still better and worse.
So you must take your husband's then. Pox, murderer, leave thy damnable faces and begin. The croaking raven doth bellow for revenge.
Thoughts black, hands act, drugs fit, and time agreeing. Confederate season, else no creature seeing. Thou mixture rank of midnight weeds collected, with Hecate's band thrice blasted, thrice infected. Thy natural magic and dire property of wholesome life usurp immediately.
He poisons him in the garden for his estate. Gonzago is the duke's name. The story's extent, written choice Italian. You shall see anon how the murderer gets the love of Gonzaga's wife.
The king rises.
What? Prided with false
fine.
How fares, my lord?
Get on the play!
Give me some light.
Let the stricken deer go weep, the heart ungalled play. For some must watch, while some must sleep. Thus runs the world away. Would not this, sir, and a whole forest of feathers, if the rest of my fortunes turn Turk with me, and 2 provincial roses on my raised shoes, give me a fellowship with a cry of players.
Happy share.
Oh, when oh, good Horatio, I'll take the ghost word £1,000. Proceed.
Very well, my lord.
Upon the talk of poisoning.
I can very well note him.
Aha! Come! Some music!
My lord, vouchsafe you a word with me.
Sir, a whole history.
The king, sir,
Aye, sir, what of him?
is in his retirement marvellous distempered.
With drink, sir.
No, my lord, rather with colour.
Your wiseness should show itself more richer to signify this to his doctor. For me, to put him to his purgation would perhaps plunge him into far more colour.
Good my lord, put your discourse into some frame, and start not so wildly from my affair.
I am tame, sir, pronounce.
The queen your mother, in most great affliction of spirit, has sent me to you.
You are welcome.
No, my lord, this courtesy is not of the right breed. If it will please you to make me a wholesome answer, I will do your mother's commandment. If not, your pardon and my return will be the end of my business.
Sir, I cannot
What, my lord?
make you a wholesome answer. But such an answer as I can make, you shall command, or as you say, my mother. Therefore no more, but to the matter. My mother, you said.
Then thus she says, your behavior struck her into amazement and admiration.
Oh, wonderful son that can so astonish a mother! But is there no sequel at the heels of this mother's admiration, in part?
She desires to speak with you in her closet ere you go to bed.
We shall obey, were she 10 times our mother. Have you any further trade with us?
My lord, you once did love me.
So do I still by these prickers and stealers.
Good my lord, what's the cause of your distemper? You to surely bar the door upon your own liberty if you deny your griefs to your friend.
Sir, I lack events.
How can that be when you have the voice of the king himself for your succession in Denmark?
While the grass grows, the proverb is something musty. Oh, there are quarters. Let me see you on. Draw towards an end with you. Why do you go about to drive me into a toil? We play upon this pipe.
My lord, I cannot.
I pray you.
Believe me, I cannot.
I do beseech you.
I know no touch of it, my
It
lord.
is as easy as lying. Govern these vantages with your finger and thumb. Give it breath with your mouth. And it will discourse most eloquent music. Look you, these are the stops.
But these cannot I command to any utterance of harmony. I have not the skill.
Why, look you then how unworthy a thing you make of me. You would seem to play upon me. You would seem to know my stops. You would sound me from the lowest note to the top of my compass. You would pluck out the heart of my mystery. And there is much voice, most excellent music in this little organ. But cannot you make it speak? Splud. Do you think I'm easier to be played upon than a pipe? Call me what instrument you will. Though you play me, you cannot play me. God bless you, sir.
My lord, the queen will visit you and presently.
Do you see yonder cloud that's almost the shape of a camel?
Well, by the mast is a camel indeed.
Methinks it's like a weasel.
Very like a weasel.
Or like a whale.
Very like a whale.
I will be with my mother by and by. They fool me to the top of my bent. I will be there by and by.
By and by.
By and by is easily said. Leave me, friends. It's now a very witching time of night, when churchyards yawn and hell itself breathes out contagion onto this world. Now could I drink hot blood and do such a bitter business as the day would quake to look on. Soft to my mother. O heart, lose not thy nature. Let me be cruel, but not unnatural. I will speak daggers to her, but use none. tongue and soul and this be hypocrites. In my words, however she be shent, to give them seals, never my soul consent.
We beg your indulgence.
For a brief intermission.
I like him not, nor stands it safe with us to let his madness reign. Therefore prepare you, I your commission forthwith with here dispatch, and he to England shall along with you. Terms of our estate may not endure hazards of dangerous as done hourly grow out of his lunacy.
We will ourselves provide. Most holy and religious fear it is to keep those many, many bodies safe that live and feed upon your majesty.
Arm you, I pray you, for this speedy voyage. We will fetters put upon this fear which now goes too free-footed.
We will haste us.
He's going to his mother's closet, my lord. Behind an arras I'll convey myself to hear the speech, and warn it should tax him home. And as you said, and was it wisely said, 'tis meet that some more audience than a mother should o'erhear the speech of vantage. Very well, my liege, I'll call upon you ere you go to bed and tell you what I know.
Thanks, dear my lord. My offense is rank. It smells to heaven. Hath the eldest primal curse on it, a brother's murder. Pray can I not, though inclination be sharp as will, my stronger guilt defeats my strong intent, and like a man to double business bound, I stand in pause where I shall first begin, and both neglect. What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not rain enough in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Whereto serves mercy but to confront the visage of offense? And what's in prayer but this twofold force, to be forestalled ere we come to fall, or pardoned, being down? Then I'll look up, my fault is past. But what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me my foul murder? That cannot be. For I am still possessed of those effects for which I did the murder. My crown, mine own ambition, and my queen. May one be pardoned and retain the offense? In the corrupted currents of this world, offense's gilded hand may shove by justice, and oft is seen the wicked prize itself buys out the law. It is not so above. There is no shuffling. There, the action lies in his true nature, and we ourselves compelled, even to the teeth and forehead of our faults, to give an evidence. What then? What rests? Try what repentance can. What can it not? And yet, what can it when one cannot repent? Oh, wretched state. Oh, bosom black as death. Oh, limed soul, struggling to breathe free, or more engaged. Help, angels! Make us say, bow stubborn knees, and heart with strings of steel, be soft as sinews of the newborn babe. All may be well.
Now I'm gonna do it, Pat. Now he's praying, and now I'll do it. And so he goes to heaven. And so I am revenged. That scan! A villain kills my father, and for that I, his sole son, to the same villain send to heaven. That's higher in salary, not revenge. He took my father grossly.
with all his sins, broad blown as flush as May, and how his audit stands, who knows save heaven? But in our circumstance and course of thought, 'tis heavy with him. And am I then revenged to take him in the purging of his soul, when it is fit and seasoned for its passage? No. Up sword, and no thou more hoary tent, and he is drunk, asleep, or in his rage, or about some other act that have no relish of salvation in it, then trip him, that his heels may kick at heaven, and his soul may be as damned and black as hell whereto it goes. Thy mother stays. This physic but prolongs thy sickly days.
My words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts never to heaven go.
He will come straight. Look you lay home to him. Tell him his pranks have been too broad to bear with, and your grace hath screened and stood between much heat in him. I'll be sconced even here. Pray you be armed with him.
Mother!
Mother! Mother!
I'll warrant you, fear me not. Withdraw, I hear him coming. Now, mother, what's the matter?
Hamlet, thou hast thy father much offended.
Mother, you have my father much offended.
Come, come, you answer with an idle tongue.
Go, you question with a wicked tongue.
Why, how now, Hamlet?
What's the matter now?
Have you forgot me?
No, mother, rude, not so. You are the queen, your husband's brother's wife. And would it were not so, you are my mother.
Oh, nay then, I'll set those to you that can speak.
Come and sit you down. You shall not go. You budge not till I set you up a glass where you may see the inmost part of you.
What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me. Help! Help! Help!
Help! Help! Help!
Oh no, rat! Dead, Bridget is dead!
Oh, I'm slain.
What hast thou done? Nay, no, not. Is it the king?
Oh, what a rash and bloody deed.
A bloody deed almost as bad, good mother, as kill a king and marry with his brother.
Kill a king!
Our lady, it was my word. Thou wretched, rash, intruding fool, farewell. I took thee for thy better. Peace, leave wringing of thy hands and sit thee down. Let me wring your heart, for so I shall be made of penetrable stuff.
What have I done that thou didst wag thy tongue in noise so rude against me?
Such an act that blurs the grace and blush of modesty, calls virtue hypocrite, takes off the rose of the fair forehead of innocent love and sets a blister there, makes a marriage vows as false as Dyser's oaths.
I mean, what act that roars so loud and thunders in the index?
Look here, upon this picture, and then on this, the counterfeit presentment of two brothers. See, what a grace was seated in this brow. A combination in form and deed where every god did seem to set his seal to give the world assurance of a man. This was your husband. Look now what follows. This is your husband, like a mildewed ear, blasting his wholesome brother. Could you on this fair mountain leave to feed, to batten on the moor? Have you eyes? You cannot call it love. For at your age, the heyday of the blood is tame. It's humble and waits upon the judgment. And what judgment would step from this to this? Shame, where's thy blush?
Hamlet, speak no more. Thou turnst mine eyes into my very soul, and there I see such black and grained spots as will not leave their tinct.
But to live in the rank sweat of an enseamed bed, honeying and making love over the nasty sty.
Oh, speak to me no more! These words like daggers enter in mine ears. No more, sweet Hamlet.
A murderer and a villain.
A slave that is not 20th part the tithe of your precedent lord, of vice, of king, no more, a king of shreds and patches. Save me, and never arm me with your wings, you heavenly guards, or with your gracious figure.
Yes, he's mad.
Do you not come your tardy son to chide? Who lapsed in time and passion lets go by the important acting of your dread command? Oh, say,
Do not forget, this visitation is but to whet thy almost blunted purpose. But look, amazement on thy mother sits. O step between her and her fighting soul, conceit in weakest body's strongest works. Speak to her, Hamlet.
how is it with you, lady?
Alas, how is with you that you do bend your eye on vacancy and with the incorporeal air to hold this course? Whereon you look?
Him! On him! Look you how pale he glares, do not look upon me, lest with this piteous action convert my stern effects. And what I have to do will want true color, tears, perchance for blood.
To whom do you speak?
Do you see nothing there?
Nothing at all.
Nothing, did you hear?
No, nothing but ourselves.
You, how he steals away. My father in the habit as he lived. Before he goes, even now, out of the portal.
It's the very coinage of your brain, this bodiless creation ecstasy is very cunning in.
Ecstasy. My pulse, as yours, doth temporally keep time and makes us helpful music. It is not madness that I have uttered. Mother, for love of grace, lay not that flattering unction on thy soul, that not thy trespass but my madness speaks. It will but skin and film the ulcerous placed, whilst rank corruption mining all within infects unseen. Confess yourself to heaven. Repent what is past. Avoid what is to come, and do not spread the compost on the weeds to make them ranker.
Oh, Hamlet, thou hast cleft my heart in twain.
Throw away the worser part of it. Live the pure with the other half. Good night. Go not to mine uncle's bed. Assume a virtue if you have it not. That monster custom who all sense doth eat of habit's devil is angel yet in this. Refrain tonight. And that shall lend a kind of easiness to the next absence, the next more easy. For use almost can change the stamp of nature and either shame the devil or throw him out with wondrous potency. Once more good night, and when thou art desirous to be blessed, all blessings beg of you. For this same Lord I do repent. Heaven hath pleased it so. Would punish me with this, and this with me. I will set him him, and will answer well to the death I gave him. I must be cruel, only to be kind. Thus the bad begins and worse remains behind. One word more, good lady.
What shall I do?
Not this, by no means, that I bid you do. Let the bloat king tempt you to his bed, pinch wanton on your cheek, call you his mouse, make you to revel all this matter out, that I essentially am not in madness, but mad in craft.
Be thou assured, if words be made of breath, and breath of life, I have no life to breathe what thou hast said to me.
And as to England, you know that?
Alack, I had forgot. 'Tis so concluded on.
There are letters sealed, and my two schoolfellows whom I will trust as I do adder's fang, they bear the mandate. They must sweep my way and marshal me to knavery. Let it work. For 'tis sport to have the engineer hoist within petard, and 'twill go hard. But I will delve 1 yard below their minds and blow them at the moon. 'Tis most sweet, when in one line 2 crafts directly meet. This lord shall set me packing. Lug his guts into the neighbor room. Good night, mother. Indeed, this counselor is now most still, most secret and most brave. He was in my foolish prating knave. Come, sir. We draw towards an end with you. Good night, mother.
You must translate to fit we understand them. Where is your son?
Bestowed this place on us a little while.
What, Gertrude?
Oh, my good Lord, what have I seen tonight?
How does Hamlet?
Mad as the sea and wind when both contend which is the mighty. In his lawless fit, behind the arras, hearing something stir, whips out his rapier, cries, "A rat! A rat!" and in this brainish apprehension kills the unseen good old man.
Oh, heavy deed. It should have been so with us had we been there. This mad young man. Yet so much was our love that we would not understand what was most fit, but like the owner of a foul disease, to keep him from divulging, let it feed, even on the pith of life. Where is he gone?
To draw apart the body he hath killed, or whom his very madness, like some ore among a mineral of metal's base, shows itself pure. He weeps for what is done.
Oh, Gertrude, come away. The sun no sooner shall the mountains touch, but we will ship him hence. And this vile deed we must, with all our majesty and skill, both countenance and excuse. Ho, Guildenstern! Friends both, go join you with some further aid. Hamlet in madness hath Polonius slain, and from his mother's closet hath he dragged him. Go seek him out, speak fair, and bring the body into the chapel. I pray you make haste. Oh, Gertrude. We'll call up our wisest friends and let them know both what we mean to do and what's untimely done. Oh, come away. My soul is full of discord and dismay.
Say, bestowed? Hamlet! Lord Hamlet! Soft, what noise? Who calls on Hamlet? Oh. Here they come.
What have you done, my lord, with the dead body?
Compounded it with dust, or you just killed him?
Now tell us where it is, that we may take it thence and bear it to the chapel.
Do not believe it.
Believe what?
That I can keep your counsel and not mine own. Besides, to be demanded of a sponge. For application should be made by the son of a king.
Taking me for a sponge, my lord.
Aye, sir. That soaks up the king's countenance, his rewards, his authorities. But such officers do the king best service in the end. He keeps them like an ape in the corner of his jaw, first mouthed to be thus swallowed, and when he needs that you have lean, it is but squeezing you, and sponge, you shall be dry again.
I understand you not, my lord.
I'm glad of it. A knavish speech sleeps in a foolish ear.
You must tell us where the body is and come with us to the king.
The body is with the king. The king is not with the body. The king is a thing.
A thing, my lord.
Of nothing. Bring me to him. Hide fox and all laughter! I have sent to seek him, and for to find the body. Dangerous is it that this man goes loose. Yet must we not put the strong law on him, for he is loved of the distracted multitude, who like not with their judgment or with their eyes. And which is so, the offender scourges weight, but never the offense. To bear all smooth and even, this sudden sending him away must seem deliberate pause. Diseases desperate grown, by desperate appliance are relieved, or not at all. How now, what has befallen?
Where the dead body is bestowed, my lord, we cannot get from him.
But where is he?
Without, guarded, to know your pleasure.
Bring him before us.
Oh, Guildenstern, bring in my lord.
Now, Hamlet, where is Polonius? At supper. At supper? Where?
Not where he eats, but where he is eaten. A certain convocation of politic worms are e'en at him. Your worm is your only emperor for diet. We fat all creatures that all spat us, and we fat ourselves for maggots. Your fat king and your lean beggar are of variable service. 2 dishes, but to 1 table. That's the end.
Alas, alas!
You may fish with a worm that have eat of a king, and feed on a fish that have ate of the worm.
What dost you mean by this?
Nothing. But to show you how the king may go the progress through the guts of a beggar.
Where is Polonius?
In heaven. Send hither to see. If your messengers find him not there, seek him in the other place yourself. But if you find him not within this month, you may nose him as you go up the stairs into the lobby.
Go, seek him there.
He will stay till you come.
And Hamlet, this deed, for thine especial safety, which we do dearly tender as we grieve for what you have done, must send thee hence, and with fiery quickness. Therefore prepare you. The bark is at ready, the wind at help, the associates 10, and everything is bent for England.
For England!
Aye, Hamlet.
Good.
So is it, if thou knewest our purposes.
I see a cherub that sees them. But come, for England! Farewell, dear mother.
Thy loving father, Hamlet.
My mother. Father and mother is man and wife. Man and wife is one flesh, and so, my mother. Come, for England! Woo!
Follow him at foot. Tempt him with speed aboard. Delay it not, I'll have him hence tonight. Away, for everything is sealed and done that us leans on the affair. I pray you, make haste. And England, if my love thou holds at aught, and thy free awe pays homage to us, thou mayest not coldly set our sovereign process, which imports it full, by letters congruing to that effect. The present death of Hamlet. Do it, England, for like hectic in my blood he rages, and thou must cure me. Till I know 'tis done, how are my haps? My joys were ne'er begun.
Please you go, my lord. I'll be with you straight. No room before. All occasions do inform against me and spur my dull revenge. What is a man? If his chief good and market of the time be but to sleep and to feed, a beast no more. Sure, he that made us with such large discourse looking before and after gave us not the capability and godlike reason to fuss in us unused. Now, whether it be bestial oblivion or some craven scruple of thinking too precisely on the act, a thought which quartered hath but 1 part wisdom and ever 3 parts coward, I do not know why then I live to say this thing's to do. Sin. I have cause and will and strength and means to do it. Examples gross as earth exhort me. How stand I then? Of a mother killed, a father stained, excitements in my reason and my blood, and let all sleep. Oh, from this time forth, my thoughts be bloody or be nothing worth.
I will not speak with her.
She is importunate, indeed distraught. Her mood will needs be pitied.
What would she have?
She speaks much of her father, says she hears his tricks in the world, and hems and beats her heart. Spurns enviously at straws, speaks things in doubt that carry but half sense. Her speech is in nothing, and yet the unshaped use of it doth move the hearers to collection. They yawn at it and botch the words up to fit their own thoughts, which as her winks and nods and gestures may yield them, indeed would make one think there might be thought, though nothing sure, yet much unhappily.
'Twere good she were spoken with, for she may strew dangerous conjectures in ill-breeding minds. Let her come in. To my sick soul, as sin's true nature is, each toy seems prologue to some great amiss. So full of artless jealousy is guilt that spills itself in fearing to be spilt.
There is the beauteous majesty of Denmark.
How now, Ophelia?
How should I for true love know on another one? By his hollow hat his staff and his sandal shoe.
Alas, sweet lady, what imports this song?
Say you? Nay, pray you, mark. He's dead and gone, lady. He's dead and gone. At his head a grasping turf, at his heels a stone.
Nay, but Ophelia.
How do you, pretty lady?
Well, good on you. They say the owl's a baker's daughter. Lord, we know what we are, but know not what we may be. God be at your table.
Conceit upon her father.
Pray you, let's have no more words of this. When they ask you what it means, say you this. Tomorrow is St. Valentine's Day, all in the morning time, and I am made at your window to be your Valentine. Then up he rose and doffed his clothes, and up the chamber doors, let in the maid that out of maid never departed more.
Pretty Ophelia.
Indeed, love, I'll make an end on it. By Jess and by St. Charity, lack and fight for shame. Young men will do it if they come to it. By God, they are to blame.
How long has she
been? Before you come of me, you promised me to wed. So what I had done by yonder sun, and thou hadst not come to my gate.
How long has she been thus?
I hope all will be well. Yet I cannot choose but weep to think they should lay him in the cold hard earth. My brother shall know of it. And so I thank you all for your good counsel. Come, my coach. Good night, ladies. Good night, sweet ladies. Good night. Good night.
Follow her. Give her good close watch, I pray you. This song is the poison of deep grief. It all springs from her father's death. And now behold, oh Gertrude, Gertrude, when sorrows come, they come not in single spies, but in battalions. Let me in!
Master, hold!
Look, what noise is this? The doors are broke.
Oh, the vile king! Give me my father!
Come, me good Laertes!
The drop of blood that's calm proclaims me bastard, cries cuckold of my father, brands the harlot, even here, between the chaste, unsmirched brow of my true mother.
What is the cause, Laertes, of thy rebellion looks so giant-like? Let him go, Gertrude. Do not fear our person. There is such divinity doth hedge a king that treason can but peep to what it would, acts little of his will. Tell me, Laertes, why thou art thus incensed. Let him go, Gertrude. Speak, man.
Where is my father?
Dead.
But not by him.
Let him demand his fill.
How came he dead? I'll not be juggled with. To hell allegiance, vows to the blackest devil, conscience grace to the profoundest pit. I dare damnation. To this point I stand, that both the worlds I give to negligence, let come what comes. Only I'll be revenged most thoroughly for my father.
Who shall stay you?
For my will, not all the world. And for my means, I'll husband them so well, they shall go far with little.
Good Laertes, if you would know the certainty of your dear father's death, is it writ in your revenge that swoopsday you will draw both friend and foe, winner and loser?
None but his enemies.
Will you know them then?
To his good friends,
Thus wide alope my arms, and like the kind, life-rendering pelican, repass them with my blood.
Why, now you speak like a good child and a true gentleman. That I am guiltless of your father's death, and am most sensible in grief for it. It shall as level to your judgment peer as day does to your eye. Let her come in.
How now, what noise is this? Oh, heat dry up my brains. Tears 7 times salt run out the sense and virtue of mine eye. By heaven, thy madness shall be paid by weight till our scale turn the beam. Oh, Rose of May, dear maid, kind sister, sweet Ophelia. Oh, heavens, is it possible a young maid's wit should be as mortal as an old man's life? Nature is fine in love, and where 'tis fine, it sends some precious instance of itself after the thing it loves.
They bore him barefaced on the bier. Hey, nonny, nonny, hey, nonny. And on his grave rained many a tear. Very well, my dove.
Hadst thou thy wits and didst persuade revenge, it could not move thus.
You must sing a down, a down. You must call him a downer. There's rosemary. That's for remembrance. Pray, love, remember. There's pansies. That's for thoughts.
A documented madness, thoughts and remembrance fitted.
There's fennel for you. And columbines. There's rue for you. And some for me. We may call it herb grace to Sundays. Oh, you must wear your rue with a difference. There's a daisy. I would give you some violets, but they all withered when my father died. They say he made a good end. For bonny sweet robin is all my joy.
Thought, affliction, passion, hell itself. She turns to favor and to prettiness.
And will he not come again? And will he not come again? Now he is dead, now to thy deathbed. He never shall come again. His beard was as white as snow. All flaxen was his poll. He is gone, and we cast away moan. God have mercy on his soul. And of all Christian souls, I pray God be with you.
Do you see this, oh God?
Goodly Artes, I must commune with you in your grief, or else you deny me right. Go but apart. Make choice of whom your wisest friends you will, and they shall hear and judge twixt you and me. If by direct or collateral hand they find us touched, we will our kingdom give, our crown, our life, and all that we call ours to you in satisfaction. But if not, be you content to lend us your patience, and we shall jointly labor with your soul to give it due content.
Let this be so. His means of death, his obscure funeral, no trophy, no sword, nor hatsman o'er his bones, no noble rite, nor formal ostentation cry to be heard, as 'twere from heaven to earth, and I must call it in question.
And so you shall, and where the offense lies, let the great axe fall. I pray, go with me.
Who are they that would speak with me?
Sailors, sir. They say they have letters for you.
Do let them come in. I do not know from what part of the world I should be greeted from, if not from Lord Hamlet.
God bless you, sir.
Oh, let him bless thee too.
Ah, he shall, to please him.
There's a letter for you, sir. Comes from the ambassador that was bound for England. Horatio be thy name. Shall let to know it is.
Horatio, when thou shalt have overlooked this, give these fellows some means to the king. They have letters for him. Ere we were 2 days old at sea, a pirate of very warlike appointment gave us chase. Finding ourselves too slow of sail, we put on a compelled valor, and in the grapple I boarded them. On the instant they got clear of our ship, so I alone became their prisoner. They have dealt with me like thieves of mercy, but they knew what they did. I have to do a good turn for them. Let the king have the letters I have sent, and repair thou to me with as much haste as thou wouldst fly death. I have words to speak in thine ear will make thee dumb, yet they are much too light for the bore of the matter. These good fellows will bring me where I am. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern hold their course for England. Of them I have much to tell thee. Farewell. He that thou knowest thine, Hamlet. Come! I will give you way for these your letters, and do it the speedier, that you may direct me to him from whom you brought them.
Now must your conscience my acquaintance seal, and you must put me in your heart for friend. Sith you have heard, and with a knowing ear, he that hath your noble father slain pursued my life.
It well appears. But tell me why you proceeded not against these feats, so criminal and capital in nature, as by your safety, greatness, wisdom, all things else you mainly were stirred up.
Oh, for two special reasons, which may perhaps to you seem much unsinewed, yet to me they are strong. The queen, his mother, lives almost by his looks. And for myself, my virtue or my plague, be it either which, she is so conjunctive to my life and soul, that as the star moves not but in his sphere, so I could not but by her. The other motive why to a public count I might not go is the great love the general gender bear him, who, dipping all his faults in their affection, would have converted his gibes to graces. And so that my arrows, too slightly timbered for so loud a wind, would have reverted to my bow again, and not where I'd aimed them.
And so have I a noble father lost, a sister driven into desperate terms, whose worth, if praises could go back again, stood challenger on mount of all the age for her perfections. But my revenge will come.
Break not your sleeps for that. You shall shortly hear more. You must not think we are made of stuff so flat and dull that we can let our beard be shook with danger and call it pastime. I loved your father, and we love ourselves. And that, I hope, may teach you to imagine. How now, what news?
Letters, my lord, from Hamlet. This to your majesty, this to the queen.
Letters? From Hamlet? Who brought them?
Sailors, my lord, they say. I saw them not. They were given me by Claudio. He received them.
Laertes, you shall hear them. Leave us. High and mighty, you shall know I am set naked on your kingdom. Tomorrow shall I beg leave to see your kingly eyes, when I shall, first asking your pardon thereunto, recount the occasion of my sudden and more strange return. Hamlet. But what should this mean? Are all the rest come back? Or is this some abuse and no such thing?
Maybe the hand?
'Tis Hamlet's character. Naked? And in a postscript here he says, alone. Will you advise me?
I am lost in it, my lord. But let him come. It warms the very sickness in my heart, that I shall live, and tell him to his teeth, thus didst thou.
If this should be so, Laertes, as how should it be so? How otherwise? Will you be ruled by me?
Aye, my lord. So you will not rule me to a peace.
To thine own peace.
My lord, I will be ruled. The rather, if you could devise it so, that I might be the organ.
It falls right. Laertes, did you hold your father dear?
Or are you like the painting of a sorrow, a face without a heart?
Why ask you this?
Not that I think you did not love your father, but that I know. Love is begun by time. And I see in passages of proof that time qualifies the spark and fire of it. What we would do, we should do when we would. For this would changes and hath delays and abatements as many as our tongues, our hands, our accidents. And this should is like a spindrift sigh that hurts by easing. But to the quick of the ulcer, Hamlet comes back. What would you undertake to show yourself your father's son? Indeed, more than in word.
To cut his throat in the church.
No place indeed should murder sanctuarize. Revenge should have no bounds. But will you do this? Laertes, keep close within your chambers. Hamlet, return, so I know you will come home. We'll put up those shall praise your excellence, and wager on your heads. He, being remiss, most generous, and free from all contriving, will not peruse the foils, so that with ease or a little shuffling, you may choose a sword unbaited, and so, in a passive practice, requite him for your father.
I will do it. For that purpose, I'll anoint my sword. I bought an unction of a mountebank, so mortal that, but dip a knife in it, where it draws blood. No cataplasm so rare, collected from all simples, can save the thing from death that is but scratched withal. I'll touch my point with this contagion, that if I gall him slightly, it may be death.
Let us think further of this. Weigh what convenience of time and means may fit us to our shape. I have it. When in your motion you are hot and dry, as make your bout the more violent to that end, and that he call for drink, I shall have prepared for him a chalice for the nonce, whereon but sipping, if he by chance escape your venom stuck, our purpose may hold there.
How now, sweet queen? One woe doth tread upon another's heel, so fast they follow. Your sister's drowned, Laertes.
Drowned? Oh, where?
There is a willow, grows aslant a brook, that shows his hoar leaves in the glassy stream. There with fantastic garlands did she make, crowflowers, nettles, daisies, and long purples that liberal shepherds give a grosser name, but our cold maids do dead men's fingers call them. There, in the pendant boughs, her coronet weeds clambering to hang, an envious sliver broke, when down her weedy trophies and herself fell in the weeping brook. Her clothes spread wide, and mermaid-like a while they bore her up, which time she chanted snatches of old lauds, as one capable of her own distress, or like some creature native and endued unto that element. But long it could not be till that her garments, heavy with their drink, pulled the poor wretch from her melodious lay to muddy death.
Alas then, she is drowned.
Drowned. Drowned.
Too much of water hast thou, poor Ophelia, and therefore I forbid my tears. Adieu, my good lord. I have a speech of fire that fain would blaze, but that this folly doubts it.
Let us follow, Gertrude. Oh, how much I had to do to calm his rage. Now I fear this will start it again. Therefore, let's follow.
Is she to be buried? Christian burial that willfully seeks her own salvation.
I tell you she is, and therefore make her grave straight.
The crown hath sat on her and finds a Christian burial.
How can that be? Unless she drowned herself in her own defense.
Why, 'tis found so.
It must be saith and dendo. It cannot be else. For here lies the point. If I drown myself wittingly, it argues an act. And an act has three branches. It is to do, to act, to perform. Argal, she drowned herself wittingly.
Nay, dear, good man, Talbot.
Give me leave. Here lies the water. Good. Here stands the man. Good. If the man go to this water and drown himself, he is willy-nilly. He knows. Mark you that. But if the water come to him and drown him, he drown not himself. Argal, he that is not guilty of his own death shortens not his own life.
But is this law?
I marry, is it? Crowner's quest law.
Well, you have the truth on it. If this had not been a gentlewoman, she should have been buried out of Christian burial.
Why, there thou sayest. The more pity that great folk should have continence in this world to drown or hang themselves, more than they're even Christian. Come, my spade. There is no ancient gentleman, but gardeners, ditchers, and grave makers. They hold up Adam's profession.
Was he a gentleman?
He was the first that ever bore arms.
Why, he had none.
Not a heathen. How dost thou understand the scripture? The scripture says Adam digged. Could he dig without arms? I'll put another question to thee. If you answer me not to the point, confess thyself.
Go to.
Nah. What is he that builds stronger than the mason, the shipwright, or the carpenter?
The gallows maker, for that frame outlives 1,000 tenants.
I like thy wit well, in good faith. The gallows does well. But how well does it? It does well to those that do ill. Now, thou dost ill, insane. The gallows is built stronger than the church. Argal, the gallows may do well to thee. Do it again. Come.
Who builds stronger than the mason, the shipwright, or the carpenter?
Aye, tell me that and unyoke.
Marry, now I can tell.
Do it.
Mass, I cannot tell.
Cudgel thy brains no more about it, for your dull ass will not mend his pace with beating. When you are asked this question next, say, a grave maker. The houses that he makes last till doomsday. So get thee to jagen, fetch me a stoop of liquor.
full had a tongue in it, and could sing once. How the knave now jowls it into the ground as if it were Cain's jawbone that did the first murder. It might be the pate of a politician, if his ass in our offices. One that would circumvent God, might it not?
It might, my lord.
Or of a courtier. One who would say, "Good morrow, sweet lord! How dost my good lord?" This might be my lord such a one, who praised my lord such a one's horse when he meant to beg it, might it not?
Aye, my lord.
Or of a lawyer, where be his quiddities now, his quillets, his cases, his tenures, and his tricks. Why does he suffer this rude knave to beat him about the sconce with a dirty shovel and will not tell him of his action of battery? I'll speak to this fellow. Whose grave is this, sirrah?
Mine, sir.
I think it be thine indeed, if thou liest in it.
Thou lie out on it, sir, and therefore it is not yours. For my part, I do not lie in it, and yet it is mine.
What man dost thou dig it for?
For no man, sir.
What woman, then?
For none neither.
Who is to be buried in it?
One that was a woman, sir. But rest her soul, she's dead.
How absolute this fellow is. We must speak to him by the card, or equivocation will undo us. How long hast thou been a grave maker?
Of all the days in the year, I came to it that day that our last King Hamlet overcame Fortinbras. It was the very day that young Hamlet was born. He that is mad and sent into England.
Why, Mary, why was he sent into England?
Why, because he was mad.
How came he mad?
Very strangely, they say.
Oh, how strangely?
Faith, he was losing his wits.
On what ground?
Denmark.
How long will men lie in the earth, does he rob?
Oh, in faith, if he be not rotten, for he die, for we have many pocky courses nowadays that will scarce hold the laying in. He could last you 8 year or 9 year. 10 will last you 9 year.
Why he more than another?
Oh, sir, his hide is so tanned with his trade that he will keep out water a great while. And your water is a sore decayer of your horse and dead body. Here's the skull now.
Whose was it?
Horse and mad fellows it was. Whose do you think it was?
Nay, I know not.
Ah, pestilence on him for a mad rogue. Poured a flag and a ranish on my head one night. This same skull, sir, is Yorick's skull. King's jester.
Yes.
Now,
let me see. Lass, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio. A fellow of infinite jest and most excellent fancy. Borne me on his back 1,000 times, and now, oh, poured in my imagination it is. My gorge rises at it. Here hung those lips I have kissed I know not how oft. Where be your jibes now? Your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment that were wont to set the table on a roar. Not one now to mock your own grinning. Quite chapfallen. Now go, get you to my lady's chamber. Tell her, let her paint an inch thick, to this favour must she come. Make her laugh at that. To what base use must we return, Horatio? Why might not the imagination trace the noble dust of Alexander, to find it stopping at a bunghole?
'Twere to consider too curiously to consider so.
No faith, not a jot. Soft, but soft, here comes the king, the queen, the courtiers. Who is this they follow with such maimed rites? This doth betoken the corpse they carried was of some estate. Couch me a while in march.
What ceremony else?
Laertes, a noble youth, but
What ceremony else?
Her obsequies have been as far enlarged as we have warranties. Her death was doubtful. And but the great command that o'ersways the order, she should in ground unsanctified have lodged.
Must there no more be done?
No more be done. We should profane the service of the dead to sing sage requiem and such rest to her as to peace-hearted souls.
Lay her the earth, and from her fair and unpolluted flesh may violets spring. I tell thee, churlish priest, a ministering angel shall my sister be when thou liest howling.
What? Fair Ophelia!
sweets to the sweet, farewell. I hoped thou shouldst have been my Hamlet's wife. I thought thy bride bed to have decked, sweet maid, and not have strewed thy grave.
Oh, treble woe, fall 10 times treble on that cursed head, whose wicked deed thy most ingenious sense deprived thee of. Hold off the earth a while, till I have caught her once more in mine arms.
What's he whose grief there's such an emphasis? Whose phrase of sorrow conjures the wandering stars and makes them stand like wander-wounded heroes. This is I, Hamlet the Dane.
The devil take thy soul!
Oh, praise God! I pray thee, point thy fingers from my throat. For though I'm most plentive and rash, and I have something in me dangerous, which let thy wiseness hear. Away thy hands!
Pluck them asunder.
Hamlet! Hamlet! Gentlemen!
My lord, be quiet!
Nay, I will fight with him upon this theme till my eyelids no longer wag.
Oh, my son, what theme?
I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers could not with all their quality of love make up my son. What wilt thou do for her?
Oh, he is mad, Laertes.
For love of God, forbear him. Hear you. What is the reason you use me thus? I loved you ever. But 'tis no matter. Hercules himself do what he may. The cat will mew. The dog will have his day.
Good Horatio, I pray you wait upon him. Strengthen your patience to our last night's speech. We'll put the matter to the present push. Good Gertrude, set some watch over your son. A living monument, shall we see? Now of quiet shortly shall we see. Till then, in patience our proceeding be.
So much for this, sir. Now let me see the other. Do you remember the circumstance?
Remember it, my lord.
Sir, in my heart there was a kind of fighting which would not let me sleep. Our indiscretion sometimes serves us well, and that should learn us there is a divinity which shapes our end, refute him how we will.
That is most certain.
Up from my cabin, my sea gown scarfed about me, in the dark, groped I to find out them had my desire, fingered in their packet, and in fine withdrew to mine own room again, making so bold, my fears forgetting manners, and sealed their great commission. Are I found, Horatio? O royal favor, an exact command that on the supervised, no leisure baited, no, not stay the grinding of an axe, my head should be struck off.
Is it possible?
Is the commission. Read it at more leisure. For what thou here high did perceive.
I beseech you.
Being thus benetted round with villainies, I sat me down, devised a new commission. Wilt thou hear the effect of what I wrote?
Aye, good my lord.
An earnest conjuration from the king, that on the view and knowing of these contents, without bearers, should be put to sudden death.
not shriving time allowed.
So Guildenstern and Rosencrantz go to it.
Why, man, they did make love to this employment. They are not near my conscience. Their defeat doth by their own insinuation grow. It is dangerous when baser matter comes between the fell, insensate points of mighty opposites.
It must be shortly known to him from England what is the issue of the business there.
It will be short. The interim is mine. A man's life is no more but to say one. But I am very sorry, good Horatio, that to Laertes I forgot my son. But surely, by the image of my cause, I see the portraiture of his. His grief did put mine into a towering passion.
Peace. Who's there?
Your lordship is right welcome back to Denmark.
I humbly thank you, sir! Dost thou know this water's line?
No, my lord.
The state is the more gracious. 'Tis a vice to know him.
Sweet lord, if your lordship were at leisure, I should impart a thing to you from his majesty.
I will receive it with all diligence of spirit. I beseech you, put your bonnet to its right use. 'Tis for the hat.
It is very hot.
No, believe me, it is very cold. The wind is northern.
It is indifferent cold, my lord.
But yet methinks 'tis very sultry and hot for my complexion.
Exceedingly. As it were, I cannot tell how. But, my lord, the king has put a great wager upon thy head, and, sir, this is the matter.
I pray you, remember.
Oh, good my lord. Oh, nay, for my own comfort. My lord, there is newly come to court, Laertes, believe me, an absolute gentleman. In fact, to speak feelingly of him, he is the very card or calendar of gentry, for you shall find in him that part of what a gentleman would see.
Sir, his refinement suffers no tradition in you. Though I know to divide him inventorily would perhaps dazzle the arithmetic of memory, and yet but yaw neither in respect of his quick sale. But in a verity of extolment, I take him to be a soul of great article, and his indiscretions of such dearth and rareness as to make true diction of him. His semblable is his mirror, and who would trace his umbrage, nothing more.
Your lordship speaks most infallibly of him.
What imports the nomination of this gentleman?
Of Laertes.
Of him, sir?
Sir, you are not ignorant of what excellence Laertes is at his weapon.
I dare not confess that, lest I should compete with him in excellence. But to know a man well were to know himself.
I mean, lord, for his weapon, for in the imputation laid on him by them, in his meed he is unfellowed.
What's his weapon?
A rapier dagger.
That's two of his weapons, but well.
Sir, the king, sir, hath laid a wager with him, with 6 Barbary horses, against the which he hath pawned, I take it, 6 French rape girls, and poniards with their assigned girdles, hangers, and so 3 of the carriages are very dear to fancy, very responsive to the hilt, most delicate carriages, and a very liberal conceit. Well, my lord, the king, sir, hath laid, sir, that in 12 passes between yourself and him, he shall not surpass you 3 hits. He hath put on 12 to 9, and it would come to immediate trial if your lordship would vouchsafe an answer.
Sir, I will walk here in the hall. 'Tis the breathing time of day with me. If it please his majesty, let the gentleman be brought, the foils be brought, and his highness keep his oath. I will win from him if I can. Not, I will gain nothing but my shame in the odd hits.
Shall I re-deliver you e'en so?
To this effect, after what flourish your nature will.
I commend my lord's duty to your lordship.
Your.
The king and queen and all are coming down.
In happy time.
Oh, the queen desires you to use some gentle entertainment to Laertes before you fall to play.
She well instructs me.
You will lose this wager, my lord.
Do you not think so? Since he went to France, I have been in continual practice. I shall win at the odds. Thou wouldst not know how ill all's here about my heart. It is no matter.
Nay, good my lord.
It is but foolery. But it is such a kind of gain-giving as perhaps trouble a woman.
If your mind is like anything, obey it. I will forestall the repair hither and say you are not fit.
Your wit, defy augury. It is a special providence in the fall of the sparrow. Be now, it's not to come. If it be not to come, it will be now, and if it be not now, yet it will come. The readiness is all. Since no man is aught of what he leaves, what is to leave betimes? Let be.
Come, Hamlet. Come take this hand from me.
Give me your pardon, sir. I have done you wrong, but pardon it, as you are a gentleman. But this presence knows, and you must needs have heard, how I am punished with sore distraction. What I have done, that might your nature, honor, and exception roughly awake, I here proclaim was madness. Sir, in this audience, let my disclaiming of a purposed evil free me so far in your most generous thoughts. I have shot mine arrow o'er the house, and hurt my brother.
I am satisfied in nature, whose motive in this case should stir me most to my revenge. But in my terms of honor, I stand aloof, and will no reconcilement, for by some elder masters of known honor I have a voice and precedent of peace to keep my name ungored. But till that time, I do receive your offered love like love, and will not wrong it.
I embrace it freely, and will this brother's wager frankly play. Give us the foils, come on.
Come, one for me.
Give them the foils, young Osric. Cousin Hamlet, you know the wager.
This one's too heavy, let me see another.
This one likes me well. These foils have all a length.
Why, my lord? Set me the strip of wine upon that table. If Hamlet give the first or second hit, or quit in answer of the third exchange, let all the battlements their ornaments fire, and the king shall drink to Hamlet's better breath in the cup, and union shall he throw, richer than that which 4 successive kings in Denmark's crown have worn. Come, let's begin, and you judges bear a wary eye.
Come on, sir.
Come, my lord.
One!
Oh!
Judgment! A hit! A very palpable hit!
Well, again.
Stay.
Give me drink. Hamlet, pearl is thine. Here's to thy health. Give him the cup.
I'll play this belt first. Set it by a while.
Come.
Another hit, what say you?
A touch, I do confess.
Our son shall win.
Here, Hamlet, take my napkin. Rub thy brows. The queen carouses to thy fortune, Hamlet. Gertrude, do not drink. I will, my lord. I pray you pardon me.
Is the poison come? It is too late.
I dare not drink yet, madam. By and by.
Come, let me wipe thy face.
My lord, I'll hit him now.
I do not think it.
And yet 'tis almost against my conscience.
Come for a third, Laertes. You do but dally. Pray you pass with your best violence. I feared you to make a wanton of me.
Say you so? Come on.
Nothing that way.
Have at you now!
Try to make sense.
Oh, look to the queen! Oh!
He bleed on both sides. How is my lord?
How is Laertes?
Why, as a woodcock to my own spring, Osric, I am justly killed with mine own treachery.
That's the queen. She swoons to see them bleed.
No. No. The drink. The drink. Oh, my dear Hamlet. The drink. The drink. I am poisoned.
Oh, villainy! Oh, let the doors be locked! Treachery! Think it out!
It is here, Hamlet. Hamlet, thou art slain. No medicine in the world can do thee good. In thee, there is not half an hour of life. The treacherous instrument is in thy hand, unbaited and envenomed. Lo, the foul practice hath turned itself on me. Here I lie, never to rise again. My mother's poisoned. I can no more. The king! The king's to blame!
Poison and venom too? Then venom to thy work!
Treason!
Treason! Help me, friends! I have hurt you, thou incestuous, murderous, damned Dane! Drink off this potion! Is thy union here? Follow my mother!
He is justly served. It is a poison tempered by himself. Exchange forgiveness with me. Noble Hamlet, mine and my father's death come not upon thee, nor thine on me.
Heaven make thee free of it. I follow thee. I am dead, Horatio. Wretched queen. You, that look pale and tremble at this trance, that are but mute audience to this act. Private time. As the fell search of death is strict in his arrest, I could tell you. Let it be. I am dead, Horatio. Thou livest. Report me and my cause a right to be unsatisfied.
Never believe it. I am more an antique Roman than Dane. Is yet some liquor left.
As thou demand, give me the cup! My hand will have it! wounded knave. And standing thus unknown shall live behind me. If thou didst ever hold me in thy heart, absent thee from felicity a while, and in this harsh world draw thy breath of pain to tell my story. What warlike noise is this?
Young horse cry. Conquest comes from Poland. To the English ambassadors gives this warlike folly.
I am dead, Horatio. The potent poison quite o'ercrows my spirit. I cannot live to hear the news from England, but I will prophesy the election lights on Fortinbras. He has my dying voice, so tell him, with the occurrence more or less that have solicited. The rest is silence.
Thou cracks a noble heart. Good night, sweet prince, and flights of angels sing thee to thy rest. Why does the drum come hither?
Where is this sight?
What is it you would see? If aught of woe or wonder, cease your search.
This quarry cries on havoc. O proud death, which feastest towards thine eternal cell, that thou so many princes at a shot so bloodily hast struck.
Give order that these bodies, high on a stage, be placed to the view. And let me speak to the yet unknowing world how these things came about. So shall you hear of carnal, bloody, and unnatural acts, of accidental judgments, casual slaughters, of deaths put on by cunning and forced gods. And in this upshot, purposes mistook, falling on the inventors' heads. All this can I truly deliver.
Let us haste to hear it, and call the noblest to the audience. For me, for sorrow, I embrace my fortune. I have some rights of memory in this kingdom, which now to claim my vantage doth invite me. Let 4 captains bear Hamlet like a soldier to the stage, for he was likely, had he been put on, to have proved most royally. And for his passage, the soldier's music and the rights of war speak loudly for him. Take up the bodies. Such a sight as this becomes the field, but here shows much amiss. Go! Bid the soldier shoot!